changed. Can you feel it?
I can feel it right here, right now.
The difference in the atmosphere from this week to
Come on.
last week. Now,
He's here.
Badaki and I are living in the future. So it is actually Monday morning for us, meaning
Yeah.
it's football week. All right.
We're one day closer, brother.
You guys are living in the past. So you're thinking tomorrow I'll say it's football week. No, it's football week right now. We're in it. We're living in it. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Hey, big update. If you can see at the top of your screen, we had a like goal to hit 20,000 subscribers before week 1. You guys smashed that. You smashed that out of the park.
Huge love, guys.
Appreciate you so much. Let's now be on the road to 25K, which is a quarter of 100K, which is insane that's the next goal. It's every time it's insane, but every time I'm like, whoa, okay, all right, what's the next goal?
Yeah, the next goal clearly is 25, but I mean, obviously the goal is, end game is once we hit 1 million, we're cutting the channel off. No,
imagine.
Which is probably never, because I don't think anyone in the fantasy space
never say
has
never,
1 million subscribers.
Fantasy's
growing.
Never
say never.
Why not
Fantasy
us?
is growing. Why not
we appreciate
us?
y'all for being here with us. Do us a favor and go and hit that like button as today's stream starts. Got a like goal today of 50 likes. With your help, I'm very confident that we can get there all together. Now, today's stream is all about answering your questions. It's all about making you feel confident for week 1. I do have my rankings updated on the Flock Fantasy website. So just a little heads up, if you guys want updated rankings that will constantly update even throughout injury news, even Sunday morning, 30 minutes before the game start, you're like, what's the latest of the rankings for these guys? Well, very easy way for you to unlock that is by becoming a Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. I'll put a direct link in the chat. Again, to get updated rankings that are constantly updated, I'll spam that link in the chat. You get our weekly rankings that will update. All right. You'll get a team review. If you've just drafted and you want us to know what our thoughts are on your team, that's if you're a yearly Mother Flocker member. You'll get the trade calculator, the Discord channel, everything. And of course, you're supporting Badaki and myself. But let's get to what we're here to get to, which is answering your questions. All right. Now, just a heads up, super chats will get answered straight away. Otherwise, we will go in order from top to bottom. So keep that in mind. If you do want your question answered straight away, if you want to skip the queue, that's how you can go about doing so. Now, we did have someone who signed up to become a member. I can't see the name. I'm trying to remember what their name was, but Dale. It was Dale. Dale, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. I saw that. Appreciate you, man.
Fuck you, Dale.
Fuck you, Dale. All right, anyway, let's start. Let's get this thing going. Akshay is our first start-sit question of the year. He says, would you trade away McBride, Jonathan Taylor, Waddle, and bring in Gibbs, London, Ferguson, Jaden Reed, and Mostert? And a start 7, no. Stay strong with the superstars.
No. Completely agree. Start 7, you want that, especially in that tight end position. There's a huge tier with McBride, or a huge tier down with McBride going down to Jake Ferguson there.
I agree. What's up, Cap for Life? He says, so I've come to realize my formula after the 8th round of drafting your team is when you start stacking the handcuffing either late. Love it, love it, love it, Cap for Life.
Yeah.
Dan Fuller says, who would you start at wide receiver 3, London or Rice? Got to go London right now. And 100%. Who would you flex, London or Mostert? London. Yes.
London all the way there. He also said JJ and Wilson are my wide receiver 1. Yeah, you got to go London with JJ and Wilson and just see how Rice pans out, which he's going to pan out pretty well, we think. Donald said, let's go. Start full PPR start 2. James Conner, Josh Jacobs, or Raheem the Dream. For me, this is
definitely
Josh
Jacobs.
Yeah. No question, Josh Jacobs for me. And I'll be honest, I think out of these guys, I currently have Raheem Mostert higher.
Yeah, I do too. Raheem Mostert, but it's not by much. They're in the same tier between Mostert and Connor.
Yeah.
I do worry a little bit about game script for the Buffalo game that the Cardinals, they're going to Buffalo. The Cardinals offense drastically improved. Their defense didn't. There is a scenario here where the Cardinals are constantly coming from behind. In PPR formats, that gives Connor a safe floor because he's going to get worked in the air. But, I think Mostert would be my play here, but I wouldn't be surprised however it went. But for us, it would be Mostert, Jacobs. SFZEN, you want to answer this one?
Yes, I don't have enough running back. I don't have enough at running back Kamara and Brian Robinson. My quarterback's is Stroud and my backup is AR. Should I trade AR, Garrett Wilson for Nico? stack Etienne. Well, the real question is this a super flex league? If this is a one quarterback league, which I'm assuming he says as my backup is AR. I mean, if you can trade Anthony Richardson for Garrett Wilson or Nico, um, AR and Garrett Wilson, excuse me, for Nico and Etienne, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I'm okay
totally
with that
fine
in a
with
one quarterback league because
Yeah.
I love Nico Collins this year, and then obviously Travis Etienne is a huge tier up at the running back position over Brian Robinson.
I am on board with you, brother. We did get our first super chat of the stream. Remember, super chats will get answered straight away. We appreciate the support, appreciate the love.
Yeah.
Cam got kicks with a $10 dono. Appreciate you. Says,
Come on, baby.
pick 10 redraft. Just wanted to show you guys the crazy value we were able to get throughout the draft somehow. He got Kyler, Gibbs, JT, Kyron, Waddle, Cup, Andrews, Brown. Okay,
Jeez,
how
man.
the fuck... Sorry, excuse me, family friendly.
Family friendly.
But how are you getting Gibbs, JT, Kyron, and Waddle, and Cup, and Andrews? You have like 6 players that are going in the first 3 or 4 rounds, and most of them going in the first 2 rounds. So,
Yeah,
congratulations.
That's kind of insane, brother.
You built an absolute squad. You must be drafting with maybe a home league, some friends from work. Maybe it's their first time, and you said, I'm going to take advantage of you. I'm going to wipe the floor with you this year. So congratulations, because you put up one hell of a squad.
Hey, appreciate the super chat, man. Thank you so much as well.
Yes, exactly. Guys, if you want your question answered straight away, super chat is an option. Otherwise, we'll go in order from top to bottom. And the next question is from Abraham, who says, I'm getting offered Hurts and Watson for James Cook and Purdy. If I trade away Cook, I only have Kyron, Ken Walker, and Hubbard for running backs. Should I accept? He's getting offered Hurts and Watson for James Cook and Purdy. Watson would be Christian Watson?
Yeah, is it Christian Watson? Deshaun Watson? Is this...
Maybe...
I mean, it makes sense if it's maybe Christian Watson, unless it's a super... If this is super flex league...
Yes. Always important to clarify, by the way, guys.
Yeah, guys, put as much information as you can when it comes down to these Q&As. It is Christian Watson.
So Hurts and Christian Watson or James Cook and Purdy. I think the bigger question here, guys, context is everything with every single one of these questions. So, for example, if you asked me this question, you said, I'm in a 8-team start 7. Your lineup is so small, being really elite at the onesie position at quarterback is a game changer. But if you're in a 14-man start 11 where the depth is so shot everywhere, I'm keeping James Cook and Purdy. So, depending on the format of your league, that would answer the question. Hopefully that helps.
There's just a lot of context there that I think we would like. Dan, it says start 2 PPR Waddle, Ayuk, and Amari Cooper for I'm assuming for the both of us is Waddle and Ayuk. You let me know.
Yes. No, I agree. Yeah, Ayuk's got a terrible matchup, but he's on a great offense.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. Let's see. What about... Okay, let's see. Njigba or Brian Thomas Jr. in week 1? That's actually a very good question. Where do you have these guys ranked?
Yeah, I'll let you know right now. I'm pulling it up here at the wide receiver, going to Brian Thomas Jr. If I can find
I can tell you, these guys are back-to-back in my rankings. JSN and Brian Thomas back-to-back. JSN is facing Denver at home.
Yep.
Brian Thomas is on the road versus Miami. I have a feeling Brian Thomas might be more needed in his game. But I do have Jason one spot ahead of Brian.
Yeah, I actually have Jason a couple spots ahead of Brian Thomas just because Denver, I think this defense loses a lot of its key players. I think they're going to struggle. This should be a high-scoring game. I wouldn't be surprised if Jackson Smith-Njigba maybe finds the end zone. That's how I'm envisioning this game. But maybe I should see it the other way. Well,
that's what I'm saying.
The Seahawks are up. The Seahawks are up, and they're just going to run the ball, and they don't have to throw anymore.
So do you remember when, like, I'm not comparing Jamar Chase to this player, but do you remember week 1, Jamar Chase came out and just dominated straight away? Like, I like half expect that to happen for Brian Thomas Jr. I don't know why I have this ridiculous confidence in him, but I'm not saying he's going to be Jamar Chase. I'm not going to say he's going to finish top 5 on the week, but I would not be surprised if Brian Thomas comes out week 1 and has a touchdown and 70 yards or something. Like, that wouldn't surprise me at all. He's on the field a bunch of snaps. But at this very moment, I think the safest route is JSN. If you want to shoot for the absolute moon, I think Brian Thomas is the route. So that would help answer the question, I think.
Yeah, hopefully that helps.
We got a super chat, so super chats do get bumped up the queue, answered straight away. Shout out to Kiwi Sports. We love our New Zealander audience. Big fans. Half PPR, 2 flex spot. He has JSN, Adunze Shakir, and Brian Robinson. So this is a very difficult one. JSN is the start for me straight away. And now I have to choose between those other 3 names. It's half PPR. That slightly makes me lean Brian Robinson here. I will say, Badaki, this does not look like a good matchup for the Commanders. Bucks were 30th in points allowed to running backs last year. They have been a tough run defense for your fantasy running back.
Yeah, they've been pretty well.
Years. But in a half PPR, I do lean Brian Robinson with a Dunze. And just so you guys know where I sit on Dunze, I'm not anti-starting him this week, but I'm kind of like, I want to see it first. He's my wide receiver 45 on the week.
Yeah, for me, I would agree. It's between Brian Robinson. For me, it's JSN, no doubt. And then it's between Shakir, and Brian Robinson. The reason why I'm all about Shakir is because I think, they're going to establish who's going to be this wide receiver 1 early. Now, I think Shakir has a good safe floor. I don't think he's going to walk away out in this game, in my opinion, with like less than 8 points. So I'm kind of seeing that for Shakir. I'm projecting that for week 1. They're playing at home at Buffalo. The atmosphere is going to be amazing. Brian Robinson, like you said, against Tampa Bay, who gives up the 3rd least amount of points to the running back position last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
that's
and we don't want to rely on that too much, by the way, because teams change so much. But
teams have changed.
The Bucks are unique because they've been good against the run for a while. Here's what I'll say: half PPR, I'm going to lean the running back. I'm going to say Brian Robinson, JSN here. I need to see it from Adunze first. Shakir would be my last. I'm sorry, Badaki. Like, I think he could be the number 1, but I think he could be the number 3. So like, there's just I know Brian is the number 1 running back in Washington.
Yeah. I think because it's half PPR, I'm going to lean Brian Robinson. But for me, it's really close with Shakira, and B-Rob there. But thank you so much for that question.
So excited, by the way, I'm so excited to actually know. Like, I just recorded a start-sit video, which is going to come out for you guys tomorrow. And it was funny. I was talking about the Cincy backfield. I was talking about the Dallas backfield. Like, all these backfields I was talking about. We're going to talk about the wide receiver room in Chicago, the wide receiver, it's going to be so great to actually see all this play out. So
I'm excited. I'm excited for this week. Honestly, everything that we've done all offseason leads up to this moment. All the takes that we have, all the bad takes, all the good takes, is like, I told you. But, oh shit, okay, yeah, I was actually wrong.
People will overreact too far to one side too. Like, in a minute, people will be like, "Oh my god, I was so wrong on this. I was so right on this." And then in the next 5 weeks, the first 6 weeks is where you should really start to know what's true or what's not true. But anyway, thank you for the super chat
there. I think it's 369 might be next. He said this week is first of many. Need a RB2 this week. Who we starting? Jerome Ford, Ramondre Stevenson, or Zeke? For me, this is easy. Ramondre Stevenson. Yeah.
Sir Yeti Bin Sinnott, which is an incredible username. 12-team PPR, 2 flex, Chase, Olave, Evans, Terry White, Swift, Ferg. Okay, let's see. He says, I want one better running back. Should I do, you think, or just sit still?
I'm assuming this is a trade. 12-team PPR, 2 flex, Chase, Olave, Evans, Terry White, Swift, Fergie, Daniels, bench. I want one better running back. I'm assuming who should I trade, or should I sit still?
Okay, right.
So his running backs are White and Swift with Blake Corum, Kamani Vidal. So he's asking, and Brian Robinson, who should I trade to get a better running back? Or should I just sit still?
I think you're going to have to wait until the season. Like, right now, everyone has their opinion on a player, man. Everyone has their opinion on a player. There's not much wiggle room right now. After week 1, you'll have a chance to buy low on certain players. You'll have a chance to sell high on certain players. So for you, your hope needs to be that DeAndre Swift puts up 20 points, in his Chicago debut. Your hope needs to be that, who's the other names he's got here?
Brian Robinson.
Brian Robinson scores 2 touchdowns. Right now, there's not much wiggle room. Like in leagues, you can trade, but for the most part, people are pretty sold on their opinion before week 1 starts. After week 1, everything changes.
Christian Watson, 20 points. Week 1, top 15. Book it. Come on, talk it up. Put your hot takes in as well. Joe, he says full PPR start, Higgins or Aaron Jones. For me, it's easily T. Higgins. Zach's getting smacked in the $10 quickie league this week. You heard it here. For me it's T Higgins.
No, I'm not.
Be
You're
careful.
getting the spanking. You're getting an absolute spanking. All right. By the way, talk
quickie.
about sus messages. By the way, this is what Joel sent in the $10 quickie. He said, "Brace yourself."
I saw that and
Brace yourself. I'm coming for them cheeks. I said, "You're what?" Sorry, you're what? Well, this is our matchup right here. I think it's going to be a good one, but obviously I'm going to win. I think we all know that. So yeah.
coming for them cheeks. Be careful.
Thanks for the free money. But anyway, so he says T. Higgins versus the Patriots, Aaron Jones versus the Giants, and you're confidently saying T. Higgins?
I'm confidently saying T. Higgins. I actually have a video coming out of why you should be sitting Aaron Jones. And who you should be starting.
I would love to understand why that is the case. I love Aaron Jones this
week.
Who
should be starting on TikTok, or not on TikTok, but on our YouTube short channel. But I get it. I get why you like Aaron Jones, but
your defense isn't good.
Our secondary isn't good.
Your offense might not be good either. Last year, you guys were a pretty good matchup against running backs. And I'm sure that you've improved. I'm sure everybody's improved. Every position and every team is going to be way better than they were last year. But last year, you guys were a top 8 matchup for fantasy running backs. I think this is a good week to start Aaron Jones. I think you can make a case for either one of these names. And I'm not someone who thinks that the Vikings are going to be bad. It's like a common cool thing now to be like, yeah, the Vikings are going to be bad this year. They have Kevin O'Connell. They have Justin Jefferson. They have Jordan Addison. They have Aaron Jones, who averaged over 5 yards per attempt last year when he came back from his injury, over 120 yards from scrimmage when he came back from his injury, even into the playoffs. This is not going to be a bad offense, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I'll hold my hands up and say I'm wrong. If they were facing the Niners in week 1, yeah, I'm probably not starting Aaron Jones. But versus your Giants, all disrespect intended. Absolutely, I want to start Aaron Jones.
Sure, I would rather start in a full PPR T. Higgins, regardless, and then that's even with question marks of Jamar Chase going to be starting. So
sure.
even if Jamar Chase is starting or not, I'm still going T. Higgins over Aaron Jones personally. Once again, in a full PPR.
Like I don't know. I personally could see a scenario where this game gets out of hand quickly and T. Higgins isn't needed. That scares me. That scares me if the Bengals are up 3 touchdowns in the second quarter and. Hey, we can throw the ball. We can also run the clock out. So this is very close. To me, this is flip a coin. Benaki's confident in Higgins, so you guys make
Higgins.
You're gonna have to make that choice, I think, this week. But I think Aaron Jones is a great play. Sam says, your thoughts on Tony Pollard this season? I'm pretty indifferent. Like.
Yeah.
I don't have any Tony Pollard in my leagues, and it's not because I don't believe in him. It's because Tajay Spears was always 2 rounds cheaper, and you and I are of the same belief that those guys will split work down the middle. I think you and I are of the same belief that Tajay Spears is the most explosive player in that backfield. So indifferent, I think, is how I feel.
Very, very indifferent. Not any way or another here. PD said, "Hey, gents, got me the chip last year. Let's run it back." I love that, man. Come on, let's run it back right here. For a 12-man full PPR, which 2 would you start? Ford, White, Corn, Brian Robinson, Dobbins. For me, for me, it's Ford and Zamir. Is that how you feel?
Oh shit, it's not easy. It's easy. So Zamir White is easy. Zamir White's definitely starting. For me, what I'm struggling with is Ford and Brian Robinson.
I understand that.
I do think I slightly lean Jerome Ford. In fact, in my rankings, let me double check this week. I think I have him 1 spot ahead of Brian Robinson.
I think they're both. Yeah, they both have tough matchups, to be honest.
Yeah, they both have tough matchups. I could easily see both struggling, but I would slightly lean Jerome Ford, and that's just because I think there's not an Austin Eckler to Jerome Ford.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Which Bills wide receiver is safer? Personally, Badaki, I know we like Shakir. I don't feel like any of them are safer than the other. I think they all have enough concerns to not have confidence to start them in week 1. I think most people have a better option.
Sure.
But that's just my personal opinion.
It depends on your options. I think I'm projecting Shakira to be the number 1 guy, which in my projections makes him the safest. But once again, it comes to week 1, everything's going to be flipped on his head, and we'll be like, what the hell have we been talking about this whole time? Carlo, 12 team.
Guys, just a heads up. If you are
Mm-hmm.
spamming a chat, you're spamming in the chat the same question, get ready to be put in timeout, okay? Don't make us turn this into kindergarten. We got to put you in timeout because you're not waiting your turn. The rules are very simple on the stream. If you super chat, your question gets answered straight away. If you're waiting in order, we're going to go in order because your question is not important than anyone else's. We're trying to help everyone. Just keep that in mind, all right? Nobody likes that guy. Carlo's the next question. Sorry, don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person. Don't make me that person. All right, go ahead.
Don't be that guy. 12 team full PPR. Who should I start at flex? Singletary, Brian Thomas, Adam Thielen, and Curtis Samuel, J.K. Dobbins. I think this is pretty easy.
Okay.
No, I would say it's Brian Thomas. I think Devin Singletary is close. But it's Brian Thomas.
I agree. I mean, like you could make a case for any one of these names, but he has the highest ceiling. Mr. Magic says, Jamar or Sun God full PPR. I guess at this moment, if you're drafting today, Sun God's probably the safer play.
Yeah.
I would have them in the same tier, season-long projections.
Yeah, I think you kind of flip a coin there because they're kind of back to back. But if you're saying,
let's talk about this. A lot of people probably have this question: do you think Jamar Chase starts week 1?
I would say if he does not practice on Monday, he's not starting week 1. That's what I'll say. If he's at practice on Monday, he's not playing. Or he's not playing.
I am 99% sure he's going to play regardless. I just feel like we see this all the time. All the time we see these holdouts. They never last until in season. The last one was Le'Veon Bell, and that was just a different situation. So, personally, I think he plays, but I could be wrong. It wouldn't be a surprise. Gator says half PPR. Pick 2, Connor, Ladd, Lockett, Gabe Davis, and Wicks. Definitely going Connor there. And then it really is a toss-up between Ladd and Lockett and Gabe. But I guess I lean Ladd there because he's the exciting upside. I think Gabe, oddly enough, is the safest of those names. I think he'll play the most snaps of those names. So for me, it would be Connor, Ladd, but Gabe is a safer player over Ladd if you want to play safety.
Yeah, we'll go Ladd there, but I get what you're saying. Zell TV, DK or Shakir. This is DK Metcalf. Don't overthink it. DK. Troy Davis. He says, "Hey fam, I have a 12-team full PPR. Here's your team. Ferguson, any moves I can make to upgrade at tight ends?" Let me read this out.
I think Ferguson's a fine start. I literally just brought him in a trade video today. Most targeted tight end in the red zone. Only tight end with over 20 targets in the red zone last year. They didn't add anyone to compete with him for targets with Ceedee Lamb. So I would personally ride it out with Ferg right now and see if he starts hot and use him as a trade piece. Jaguar says, half PPR, start 1, Chuba, Zamir, Lockett. This is Zamir for me.
Zamir.
Who do you prefer, JK or Gus, Brown or Moss? I will go Gus and I will go Moss. I'm more confident
Chase Brown. Sorry.
I'm more confident in Gus over JK than I am Moss over Brown, but I truly to me, Badaki, the biggest question in week 1. Okay, the second biggest question. The second biggest question in week 1 is Zach Moss or Chase Brown the guy, or are either of them the guy? Is it just a split backfield? That to me is one of the most important questions heading into week 1. I would say the most important question is, what is Blake Corum's role from day 1? Like, to me, that is the most important question. That's like what would blow Twitter up. But as far as that, I would say I have more confidence in Gus over JK than Moss over Brown, but I do lean Moss.
Yeah, one of my biggest things all offseason is I think Moss is going to start in this backfield, and then Chase Brown is going to start taking over. So if he immediately comes in and sees that workload in Chase Brown, and we see, 40 to 50% of the snaps in week 1, that's like, okay, it's clearly a split backfield. Yeah. But yes, I prefer Gus, and then I prefer, if you're talking about week 1, I prefer Moss, and then long term, I prefer Brown.
Okay, so we did get a super chat from Elijah McSweeney. By the way, I remember this name from last year. I remember he donated a lot. He was a great supporter of the channel. So welcome back, man. It's good to have you again this year.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
Let's go win some championships. If you do donate a super chat, you will jump the queue. Your question will get answered straight away. Otherwise, we'll go in order. So big shout out to Elijah. Thanks for the donation. Need to And he is digging deep. This has got to be a dynasty league. Otherwise, what is happening? Antonio Gibson, Rashawn Johnson, Jalen Wright, Dylan Lobb, or Justice Hill. And I think my instant reaction is Gibson and Hill. Yeah. I'd love to know where you stand on this. Gibson, Hill, both guys used in the passing game. Exactly. I don't know if Lobb is going to play. Like, Lobb's a fun stash, but I don't know if he plays over Madison. Jalen Wright is only touching the field maybe 2 or 3 times. Oh, hello, 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 hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes, yes, yes. Can we hear me? I think they can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear both of us? Talk, Badaki. That's we. Okay, let's fix this real fast. Sometimes my computer does this really sick thing where it just disconnects everything connected via USB.
Yeah.
Okay, they should be able to hear you now and me.
Can you hear me? Yeah, they can hear. Right. They can hear both of us now.
Okay,
I'm watching the stream.
Like Perfect. I said, in summation, Gibson, Justice Hill would be my 2 options here. You're digging deep in your bag. I just think they'll be involved in the air. That's why I would choose them.
Yeah, I think if we're looking at all of these teams as a whole, you have 2 RB2s in Antonio Gibson and Justice Hill. Roscoe could be seen as the 3rd behind Swift and Herbert, and so is Jalen Wright with Raheem and Devon, and then Dylan with Zamir and Alexander Madison. That's there as well. So I'm looking at the 2 RB2s in this backfield, in this Gibson and Hill.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear you. Okay, appreciate the super chat, Elijah. I know we will see you a lot this year. Big supporter last year. Again, guys.
Yeah.
Super chats do get your question answered straight away. Otherwise, we'll go in order from top to bottom. There's no pressure to do a super chat, but that is how you get your question answered straight away. And if you are spamming questions in the chat, I'm telling you now, don't make me be that guy. I'll put you in timeout. All right. Gator says Tua or Purdy week 1, which is a great question.
Purdy does have a tough matchup here against the Jets on Sunday night. It's at home though.
I'm Tua on this one.
Yeah, I'm Tua as well. He's playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think he should be fine. And they play at home as well.
They do. And Tua has like this. Tua has like this weird ability to start so hot in seasons. Yeah. Like last year, he had a 34-point game and a 36-point game in the first 3 weeks. The year before that, in week 2, he had a 52-point game. He comes out hot. So I think Tua would be my answer there.
I think PD says 8-team league start 3.
Oh, geez, these are always the most impossible ones to answer because everyone's team is stacked. It's like, hey, I have all these top 12 guys for week 1. They're at their position. Which one do I start?
It's actually not too bad.
Choose.
It's actually not too bad. Okay, it says 8-team league start 3 wide receivers: Malik Neighbors, Scary, Rice, Keenan Allen, Calvin Ridley. Start 2 running back.
Is Neighbors, Rice, and Ridley.
Yes, exactly. Those are the 3 wide receivers. Start 2 running backs, CMC, and I'm going Derrick Henry.
Same, but I would flex Alvin, and then somehow I guess you don't start James Cook and Scary Terry. That's crazy, but I guess
would you start Calvin Ridley over James Cook, or James Cook over Calvin Ridley?
I would actually start James Cook over Calvin Ridley. James Cook is a start of the week for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say he has a great matchup this week against the Cardinals. If I'm not mistaken, the Cardinals were terrible against the run last year. They were the best
matchup for running backs. They gave up the most points to running backs last year.
Yeah, so
and their defense hasn't gotten better at all. Like,
no, not at all. So I would agree there. James Cook over Calvin Ridley.
We got a super chat here from Kieran. He is in one of our home leagues, and he's been supporting us from day one. We appreciate you, Kieran. He says, keen for the draft this Thursday. Can't wait to take Mahomes at the 101 so that Jacobs trades me 3 picks for him. You know what? Jacob moved on. I don't know if you remember.
I don't know if you know.
He moved on from the league.
You gotta look up. Yeah, and you either gonna draft Patrick Mahomes. Actually, you should draft Patrick Mahomes because I have the 102. So I'm chilling it either way.
Yeah. I'll trade my pick with you, Kieran, if you want.
Kieran says no way.
Kieran, I was honestly shocked because Jacob was like one of the people who loved fantasy the most. I was shocked that he left, but people gotta do what they gotta do. I'll say this: if you're in
Yeah.
I love Jacob, but if you're in a home league and you've been in that league for like 8-9 years, what do you like? There's like respectfully, your life is not busy enough to leave that home league. I don't know. Like I don't want to call people out, but come on. Like you don't want to have fun with friends anymore. Like come on, you're not that cool. All right. Anyway, but we appreciate you, Kieran. We did get another super chat from Money Mitch.
Thank you so much.
He drops a $5 donation. Super chats do get prioritized on stream. He says Garrett Wilson and Aaron Jones or Jacobs and Marvin Harrison. I think this is Jacobs and Marvin Harrison for me.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just looking at it at face value as if it's a trade, I want Jacobs and Marvin Harrison. The drop off at the running back with Jacobs and Aaron Jones is pretty tremendous. Where Marvin Harrison and Garrett Wilson are going, a couple picks apart.
Yeah. And I also am very big on Josh Jacobs this year. So he was in my trade video today. Yeah, I would go Jacobs and Marvin there. But the reality is Garrett Wilson has a chance to be the best player in this trade, and that's scary. That's scary to trade away to a player like that. I'm sure if Corey from Fantasy Stock Exchange was watching, he would be screaming at us right now. But I think I'd go Jacobs and Marvin.
Yeah, but appreciate the super chat, guys. Thank you so much. If you guys want to skip the queue, all you have to do is drop a super chat. But now we're going back to the top.
By the way, Badaki, almost 200 people watching the stream. Thank you so much. We appreciate y'all for hanging out. You're probably just as excited about fantasy football as we are. Do us a favor, smash that like button to show some love. Let's get to 100 likes here. With your help, I think we can do it. And we are on the road to 25K, as you can see at the top of the screen. With your help, if you sub, we can get there before the season. Maybe, probably not, actually. Anyway, let's move on to the next question in order, which is from, I think RM Covers. And by the way, what's up, Albert? Welcome in. But
what's happening, Albert? Yeah, RM Covers. Start 3 with Ceedee, Nico, Rice, Zay, Watson. For me, this is Nico, Rice, and Watson.
You didn't say Ceedee there. Are you sure you meant to not say Ceedee?
Oh, sorry. Start 3 with Ceedee. So Ceedee, Nico, Rice. I apologize.
Yes, Ceedee, Nico, Rice. I agree.
Yeah, sorry.
Ayuk or Godwin week 1? I think Ayuk is the play there.
Yeah. Chad, you see, for me, it's also up T. Higgins or Jake Ferguson. I'm leading T because Jamar is still sitting out. Thanks.
Yeah, T.
In advance, it's T. Higgins, no doubt about it. Full PPR, Brian Thomas or Chase Brown. That's
so
Brian
this is
Thomas
great
all day.
Because you're going Brian Thomas. So your confidence in Chase can't be too high if you're answering that quickly.
I mean,
right? Like you have to have some questions.
My confidence has never been in the first half of the season.
In the week 1, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's always been. Okay. It's always second half. He's going to take over this backfield.
All right, I agree on the call though with Brian Thomas. Everyday Paris is Alec Pierce, Curtis Samuel, and Taysom Hill for Darnell Mooney and Andre Yeshivas. My brother. I love fantasy football. We got people a week before the season starts, and they're talking about Alec Pierce in a trade and Taysom Hill.
I would say the most valuable player in this trade, oddly enough, is probably Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, I think so too. So I guess I lean
because
that way.
Because of the offense. So I'm going to go Curtis Samuel side.
But I can't think of a single format, even Dynasty included, where I would start Alec Pierce or I would roster Alec Pierce.
Oh, 1,000%. I don't think we've ever drafted him in mock drafts in the months that we've been going, because he's just fallen down the depths.
Yeah. Anonymous Panda says,
yeah.
Panda. Full PPR, 10-man league, normal flex, ESPN league. We tried auction draft. Running backs are kin. All right, what's the question here? Should I look to find a better RB1 and trade Diggs? So you've got Kin, Monty, Chase, St. Brown, and Diggs. I think you need to roll with it for now.
Yeah.
In a 10-man league, we had a video out how we would draft. I probably would have put a bigger emphasis on running backs in the draft. But still, with Chase, St. Brown, and Diggs, that's an incredible wide receiver room. Those guys should carry you. Wait until week 1. Don't force a trade. Jeremiah says, half PPR, Amari Cooper or Montgomery?
Wow, that's a great question. Amari Cooper against the Dallas Cowboys at home. David Montgomery at home on Sunday night against the Rams.
Rams are actually... So here's what's weird about the Rams. Last year, they were really tough to face defensively, but they lost maybe one of the best defensive tackles of all time in Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
He played a huge part in that. So here's what I'll say. I believe Gibbs will be full go. If there's a report that comes out that Gibbs' workload will be limited, we roll with Monty. If Gibbs is full go, we roll with Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Monty over Amari Cooper. I think the matchup is tough. Diggs is back. I think Monty can easily fold into 2 touchdowns, or at least a touchdown, which gives him the safest floor.
Let me ask you this. Which of these guys has a 50-point ceiling?
Sure. Amari Cooper. No question. Well, yeah, I get it. If you go with upside and like 50-point ceiling, sure, it's Amari Cooper. But maybe if I'm going safe floor, Monty might be the safest there. Actually, full PPR thoughts on these players. JT versus Gibbs. Let's start there. JT versus Gibbs. I like Jahmyr Gibbs. London versus Waddle. If you're talking about week 1, I like Jalen Waddle. Or let me double check. I like Drake London. I like Drake London. And Ferguson for McBride. I like Trey McBride.
Full PPR. If Gibbs is full go, I'll go Gibbs. If not, I'll go JT. Yep. It's insane that you have that question in week 1. Like, how are you choosing between those names? Then London and Waddle. I'm
going London because of the matchup.
I actually do go Waddle here slightly. So they're back to back in my rankings. Waddle and London are, and I would slightly lean Waddle, which is kind of crazy to say, but I don't know how you guys are making these decisions right now. What leagues are you in? Ferguson, McBride, we'd both go McBride.
Yeah. Freddie, who do you start week 1, Kyler or Caleb? It's Kyler, brother. You start Kyler Murray.
We love
Caleb Williams. John, PPR, Jalen Warren or Devin Singletary. For me, this is Devin Singletary. What is Warren's actual status?
Warren himself said he would play, so that's typically reliable.
He's playing against the Atlanta Falcons, who have
the Atlanta Falcons are a terrible, terrible matchup. At least they have been. I am going Devin Singletary here. It's a volume play. That's how simple the answer is.
Yeah, really, just he will play, and there's no other intel.
Chad says I have Pittman, McBride, and T in my flex spots. Starting wide receivers are Nico and Marvin. Running backs, okay. Pittman, McBride, and T in my flex spots. He has Adunze and Ferguson on the bench. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fine.
I would do that.
Mason Miller. Yeah, who should I start? A running back. Your RB1 is JT, and then you have Zeke, Donald, Benson, Ray Davis, and Braylon Allen. Gosh, that's a tough one, brother.
Wow.
That is
oh my gosh, Mason, what? Did you go 0 RB and now we're trying to dig into the bag? To me, this would be Dowdle, but I have no confidence in this answer. Like, I'll be honest with you, no confidence whatsoever. I wouldn't be surprised if Zeke is the guy. Wouldn't be surprised if Dowdle was the guy. I definitely know Benson isn't the guy from day one. I definitely know Ray and Braylon aren't. So it's between those two names. Don't love the matchup. It's a terrible matchup versus a very good defense in Cleveland, but I would lean Dowdle. Like, believe the hype, maybe. Well. There's very little information on that backfield.
Yeah, 100%. So hopefully that helps. Ben, full PPR, Deontay Johnson.
Well, but we did get a super chat, so we got to prioritize those super chats.
We'll come back to you, Ben.
Daniel donated, and I don't even see a question. Do you see a question?
Yes, this is Daniel's at the bottom. He says, Amari Cooper, Ford, Form, or Flex.
Okay, here it is.
It would be Amari Cooper.
Oh yeah, Amari Cooper for sure. Daniel would be our answer there. With Corum, you have I don't think anyone should start Corum week 1. By the way, I know I've been telling you guys to buy him. That's not because I think you should start him week 1. Definitely not an option for us. As far as Jerome Ford goes, not an ideal matchup. And Amari Cooper is just a superior talent. And in any sort of PPR format, he's going to be the safer play.
I wonder what the weather like is. Maybe I should look that up.
I think it's too early to really say for sure, to be honest. But this part of the year, weather isn't really something that concerns us typically.
Remember last year, it was like Bengals and Browns.
That's more towards like week 10 when the weather starts to change.
No, but remember last year, week 1, it was Bengals and Browns, and that's how Joe Burrow got hurt with that.
You know what?
That
Great
calf.
Point. Yeah.
I'm just saying it probably is a bit too early. Maybe at the second half of the weekend or the week, we can kind of get more into weather speculations there.
Thank you,
But thank you so
Daniel.
much for the super chat. Yeah,
Yes.
going back to the top, guys. If you want to skip the queue, all you have to do is drop a super chat. If not, we are going in order. Back to Ben. He says full PPR, Deontay Johnson or Najee Harris. I think we will both go Deontay Johnson.
I would definitely in a full PPR. And man, I can't stop saying I'm excited about seeing offenses. Like, so excited to see what this Dave Canales offense looks like with Deontay Johnson now. Like, I can literally go through every matchup, and like, I don't want to waste anyone's time, but you can go through every single matchup here and get excited about something. Derrick Henry is a Baltimore Raven now. Xavier Worthy with the Chiefs. Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley making their debuts in the same game. Kirk with the Falcons. The whole weird situation with the Steelers. Marvin Harrison in Arizona. The debut of Caleb Williams. You go down and you see Anthony Richardson's finally playing football again. The Devon Achane game, the Brian Thomas game, the Bryce Young bounce back potentially. Sam Darnold, what will that look like? Malik Neighbors' debut. I mean, you go across the board. Zamir White being the RB1 finally. Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers and their new offense. Johnson. You've got Bo Nix in his debut. JSN in his second year. You've got Cowboys and Browns, kind of, I guess, not as much. But you got Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels with his debut, right, as a commander. The return of Matt Stafford, a replay of the playoffs last year. And then Aaron Rodgers. Can he last more than 4 snaps? I mean, there's literally so many reasons to be excited. Let me hype you up. Put me in the locker room and let me hype people up for week 1.
Come on, coach.
All right? 60 seconds, 60 minutes for the rest of our lives.
100%. Right. What's that song? 100%.
Yeah.
That's like in the background.
10% power.
That's what Zach's doing as he's going through the lineup. Whoa.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Alec Rice is the next question here.
Yeah, he said, did my redraft league last night from the 3 spot. He says his team, how did I do? 1 quarterback start. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. These kind of grade, but it looks good. These kind of, grade our team is a bit tough in this live stream, but
yeah,
so
it's hard.
Far, it
it's hard.
amazing.
Like, just being transparent, it's hard to like sit down and actually grade every single one of your teams. We do team reviews on the Flop Fantasy website.
We do
where we in-depth break it down, but on this type of format, it's hard to really sit down. Like, there's almost 200 people watching. If we break down one person's team, everybody's going to want it, and it's understandable why, but it's hard to give you a really good answer. But I will say, love Tyreek, that you got him at the 103. Great option there. We did get a super chat from FZ Ware. Kyler or Cousins week 1? I'm confidently saying Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray.
Now, of course, Cousins could come out the gates, and that offense could be firing on all cylinders, and he could pick back up his MVP form he had last year. But I'm going Kyler Murray with the addition of Marvin, with him averaging 18.9 points per game last year without Marvin. So it would be Kyler for me.
Completely agree. Thank you so much for that super chat, FZ. Where we just get another one as well from Proper 19. Thank you so much. Once again, if you guys want to skip the queue, all you have to do is drop a super chat and we'll get to it right away. He says drop 1. Samaje P, Ryan Jordan, Mason, Braylon Allen, Jalen Wright, or Ray Davis. I want to keep Samaje.
I think Samaje is the one I drop, and here's the reason why. You're only rostering these guys anyway if a guy ahead of them goes down with an injury. And if the guy ahead of all these players goes down, I think P. Ryan's the least valuable because I still think someone else gets involved. I can see Mason being the guy. Braylon, Wright, Davis, I see them being the guy. So,
you know what? I'll back that. I was going to say Sweet Baby Rays, but I'm assuming you're obviously a Chiefs fan. Maybe Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Helaire does take the RB2 spot still.
Well, by the way, I do think Samaje is a really, really great stash. I just think those stashes are maybe better than him. But, you think about it, we're just a year removed from Jerick McKinnon being a top 20 fantasy running back. If Samaje Perine gets that role in Kansas City, he could be the most valuable of these names. But you can make an argument. If everyone stays healthy in these backfields, Samaje is the most valuable. Standalone value, I think he could have the most.
Say less. Thank you so much for the super chat there. Jackson is next. He says, who would you start? PPR motion,
by the way,
Pickens,
say
or
sorry
Reed?
to your mom.
Say sorry to your mom.
Do you understand the reference?
Yeah, I do. Say sorry, your mom. Huh?
I'll be here all night.
Uh, who would you start out of one? Mostert, Pickens, or Reed? This is a great question here.
I just want to clarify. I wasn't saying that I know your mom or that I've ever talked to her. There's just a song called "Sorry, Miss Jackson," and it's incredible. Anyway,
I think this is Raheem Mostert for me.
You going Mostert over Pickens?
I'm going Mostert over Pickens. The reason why George Pickens against Terrell Davis. Is it Terrell Davis? What's the corner's name? AJ Terrell. I think that's going to be a tough matchup. The quarterback play is going to be a little bit difficult there. I think Raheem Mostert has the safest floor out of all these guys. And I think he might have like one of the best matchups here, especially playing at home. Jayden Reed, he's also playing against the Eagles as well on primetime game. So that's how I'm feeling right now.
Here's the man. I really think you can make a case for any of these names. I truly
I get
do.
It. I get it.
With Pickens, he's finally the dominant number one alpha. What will that target share look like? With Reed, he's actually playing it. I actually like the matchup versus Philadelphia. They were terrible against receivers last year. And there's a chance they're terrible
they were first, actually.
Again. Yeah, they were
They gave up the most points last year.
So Reed is really sneaky, but there's also a chance Watson, if he's healthy, is the guy there. So another wide receiver room where we maybe get answers. I think Mostert is the safest play. However, I think Reed is the highest upside. That's what I would say. But Mostert, safest play in my opinion.
Completely agree. Guys, if you want to skip the queue, all you have to do is drop a super chat. And we just got another one here from Jake Johnson. Shout out to Jake Johnson. Just a classic, strong name. Jake Johnson over here in Australia.
I love his family's products, by the way.
Honestly.
Johnson. Man, I've got zingers all night.
Come on. Keep going.
People are like, please stop. I'm ready to unsubscribe. Daniels or Dak, week one. This is a great question. How do you feel about this? Are you trusting Daniels straight out the gate over a Dak Prescott?
No, I'm trusting Dak Prescott with CeeDee Lamb. I know it's a tough matchup against the Browns, but I think you can see that he could potentially have a safe floor. Daniels' ceiling seems significantly high, but I think you have to feel it out with Jaden Daniels first. I think he's a rookie. I don't think you go out guns blazing. Let's try and secure the W first with Dak Prescott this week.
So there's a certain level of bias I carry in this question, and that level of bias is I'm obsessed with Jaden Daniels. Broke money don't make none. All right, boy. We're going with Jaden Daniels here. No, they're back-to-back in my rankings. Go with your gut here. I would agree Dak is safer, but you can make a huge argument. I don't want to see the Cleveland Browns on my opposite side of my quarterback's roster ever. Like, that defense is legit across the board, all the way across the board. So I am leaning Jaden Daniels, but I can see why Dak would be the safer play.
The Cleveland Browns last year gave up the fourth least amount of points to quarterback position. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers gave up the eighth most points to the quarterback position. Better matchup. I'm leaning, the safer floor.
I'm leaning Daniels, but I get why Dak is safer. I can definitely see both sides. We did get another super chat from X Franklin. These super chats will jump the queue. He says full PPR flex Debo, Gibbs, and then at quarterback he wants to know CJ or A Rich. So let's start with Debo or Jahmyr Gibbs. That's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
I think I lean Jahmyr Gibbs if he's healthy though. Now, you can make an argument that because he's coming off a hamstring, Debo is the safer play. You can make an argument because Brandon Ayuk hasn't been practicing. The offense might be more built around Debo.
That's kind of where I'm going right now.
I think Debo is a safer play here. I think because he's playing such a good defense, I think Gibbs is the higher upside play. So Debo for safety, Gibbs for fun.
I'm gonna go Debo Samuel.
Okay.
Because of the things that you mentioned, Brandon Ayuk hasn't played. They're probably going to ease him in maybe just a little bit. Debo Samuel's going to be that focus. They also have other weapons at George Kittle and CMC. Debo is going to be the focus, but there's going to be times where he's going to, be getting open. So I'll take Debo Samuel there. And then at the quarterback position, I think this is easy for me. This would be CJ Stroud.
Yeah. I agree. Oh, wait. I don't agree. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I understand. I think the Texans defense could be one of the best defense this year, but
I totally get why you're saying that, 'cause
Anthony
it's true.
Richardson Anthony
They
Richardson's
added Danielle
ceiling
Hunter.
and Anthony Richardson's ceiling is tremendous, especially with the rushing upside. This is a divisional matchup. Some of these games can go either way. You can either get bullied on defense from one team, or it could just be a shootout.
Here's this weird aura with Anthony Richardson, right? Like, he could play so bad and still be the quarterback one on the week. He could throw 2 interceptions and complete 50% of his passes, and he could still be the quarterback one on the week. So I do lean A-Rich, but again, I think Stroud is the safer play. Let me just make one last point here, though.
I'm going safety in week 1, ladies and gentlemen. Safety in week 1 is the motto for me.
By the way, you shouldn't have drafted both of these names, because this is a terrible decision to make every single week. This is why we say don't invest that much in quarterbacks week 1. Maybe it's a dynasty league. Anyway, so last thing I'll say is, who do you think has a better chance of being up multiple touchdowns, needing to throw the ball? To me, it's the Texans. I think the Texans have a better chance of being up multiple touchdowns, and the Colts needing to throw the ball, needing Anthony Richardson to make magic. So that plays a part in it as well.
I get that. Thank you so much for the super chat. The next guy in super chat on the queue, technically, of the super chat list is Van. Xavier Worthy, Deontay Johnson. I think we'll both go Deontay Johnson here. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, full PPR. I think there's a lot more safety with Deontay. Xavier Worthy's really fun, especially without Hollywood Brown. But this is a good defense in Baltimore, and I just have more trust. There's much more safety with the Deontay this week.
Yeah, Deontay. The only concern I have with Deontay Johnson is Marshawn Lattimore. Correct me if I'm wrong. Are we concerned about that? That's the only concern.
About Marshawn Lattimore.
I just feel like he locks down everyone, but for me, it's just like, well, I think you just got to continue. You got to go with the targets that
You know what? Could you look this up for us real quick? What did Adam Thielen do last year versus the Saints, both games? Have a look real quick. I'll keep going with these super chats. Michael did donate a super chat. His question's right above it. He says, I have on my bench Smith, Adams, Ladd, Corum. Drop any of them for Deontay Johnson, Brian. Let's have a look. I don't know how you could drop Devontae Adams. I don't know how you could drop Devonta Smith or Ladd McConkey. If you're really strong at running back, I might be willing to drop Brian Robinson for Brian Thomas. Outside of that, I think you might have to hold there, man.
Adam Thielen last year, week 2 against New Orleans, 20 points. And then when did they play next in New Orleans? And week 14, he scored 12 points. But if I'm not mistaken, Marshawn Lattimore was hurt for the second half of the season.
Yeah, but I think he was healthy that first game. So
yeah,
anyway,
week two, he was healthy. So just keep that in mind.
Awesome. So thank you, Van. Thank you, Van, for the super chat, my man. Luke says, start 2, sit 1, Zamir, Godwin 4. This is easy for me with Zamir and Godwin. I don't know if you agree, but that's how I would read it.
Yeah, half PPR for me. This would be White and Ford. I get Chris.
You're not going Godwin.
I'm not going Godwin. I'm going Jerome Ford.
I can tell you guys, as a Commanders fan, we might have the worst secondary in the entire NFL.
That's true. Yeah,
I'm not even kidding you. Like, we lost our only good cornerback. Shit, I can't remember his name.
Look.
Anyway,
I would say this. I think I just have been off Chris Godwin all season. Maybe I'm wrong about this. I understand could potentially going back in the slot here this year, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like Jerome Ford feels really safe for me until I understand what this Bucs offense is going to look like.
Let me talk some shit about my own team for a second. Last year, we gave up the second most points to fantasy receivers.
Yep.
Our secondary got worse. Our secondary somehow got worse. Okay, so for me, it's Zamir White and Chris Godwin, but I understand. I personally think this is a get-right game for Godwin. I think Godwin reminds people, hey, I'm that dude. You forgot.
Yeah.
They didn't write back. That's fine.
Hey.
They wrote me off. I didn't write back. Martin Perez, thank you for the donation, my man. He says, what is your opinion of my team? He's got AR. He's got CMC, Pacheco, Kamara, Puka, I mean, come on, brother. How are
This
you
is a
guys
great
putting
team.
together teams like this? It's a
You got
great
Puka,
team.
DJ Moore, Debo. You got Evan Ingram there. You have a great quarterback. You have
The
two
fact
good.
that you have CMC, Pacheco, Kamara, Puka, DJ Moore on the same team is mental. So really, really well done. You still got a good quarterback. You still got a tight end who led tight ends in targets last year. I think you did great. A
I think you
plus.
did do great as well. Thank you so much for that super chat. Heisenberg, PPR, Najee, or is it Jamal Williams
That's
or
got to be
Jameson Williams?
Javonte Williams, right? Yeah, you know
Javonte
what?
Williams?
Because
That's
it
a
could be
lot of
Jamal, it could
Williams.
be Jameson, it could be Javonte.
Please clarify, Heisen. You don't have to drop a super chat. Just say who is that person.
Honestly, though, I
But
think regardless. Wait, if
if
it's
it's
Javonte, I
Javonte,
lean Javonte.
yeah, if it's Javonte, I lean Javonte. But if it's JMO or Jamal, it's going to be Najee for me. And he says defense, Raiders, Chiefs, or Dolphins. He says
I don't.
Javonte, by the way.
Okay, let's go Javonte. I don't like any of those defenses this week. I'll be 100% honest with you. Let me throw out some other names that might be available to you that I actually prefer. For example, the Bengals, my favorite stream this week. The Saints versus the Panthers, one of my favorite streams this week. I think the Vikings might be available in some leagues. They face your Giants. No disrespect. I also think the Bears are a decent one with Levis. I think he's going to be good, but he has been known to turn the ball over. Yeah, I think
if I had to choose one out of these, I'll probably choose the Raiders.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Yeah. All right. Those are all the super chats for now. Reminder, if you want your question answered straight away, drop a super chat. You will skip the queue. But from top to bottom, next guy in order is Rob. And he says, last year I dropped Achan. Then he dropped 50 on Denver the next week. That sucks.
Oh, boy.
He just came here to say it was sad. Kyler or Anthony Richardson?
For me, this is Kyler.
Yeah. I
For
think
me,
I
this is
lean
Kyler.
Richardson still, as crazy as that sounds.
I get it. Anthony Richardson.
But they're back-to-back in my rankings. They're back-to-back in my rankings. It's hard not to have A-Rich when he's healthy, not ranked as a top 5 option.
Once again, I'm a completely risk aversion all week one. If you're talking about who's going to have the safest floor, who also has the same upside as Anthony Richardson, is Kyler Murray. So that's how I'm going week one, but I get where, going with the crazy upside in Anthony Richardson, some of these other players as well.
We got a super chat from Tunchi, baby. So he's going to skip the queue here with that donation. He says, it's my Dolphins' birthday today. Thanks, guys.
Shout out to your Dolphin, whatever that your Dolphin's name is, he or she or it, whatever it wants to be called.
I don't even know what that means. Are you telling me you have a cage in your backyard with dolphins?
No, he probably has one of those.
FBI is watching right now.
Nah, he probably went on the Dolphins. How to adopt a dolphin, and then apparently he has a dolphin. His birthday is today.
Is this something in like the Metasphere or something?
I have an adopted koala.
What, like you donated to save them or something?
No, somebody bought it. I don't know. It was like years ago. Like Ellen's grandmother got me a Christmas present, and she bought me a koala and had like a name and everything.
That's not weird at all.
It's not.
SGMP says lineup is Purdy. All right, he's showing us his lineup. Do I start Terry or Keon over either of the wide receivers? Daniels over Purdy. I am going Daniels over Purdy myself. And then because of the matchup. And then he wants to know if he should start Terry or Coleman over Adams, Ayuk. No. You wouldn't start those over Adams or Ayuk.
Terry over Adams or Ayuk? Sure. Yeah, I would agree. I think there could be an argument with Devontae Adams, but he's playing the Chargers. I think you could.
I got him as ranked as the top 10 receiver this week. Where do you have him ranked?
Yeah. No, he's top 12 for me. He's not that high. Okay. But I'm just saying. I'm not saying I'm not starting Devontae Adams, but I say, hey, there could be an argument with potentially Terry and the Bucks. But I agree with you. We did get another super chat.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Duel.
It's a
excuse me.
dynasty trade, by the way, he said.
Traded Monty, Ford, Higgins, and Kittle for Brees.
I'm
I
totally
mean,
fine with that, personally.
yeah, I'm okay with that as well.
I guess like the only way I wouldn't be fine with it is if you're in like a 14 team start 10 lineup type of format.
Yeah,
But
I mean, because this is a lot of players, and if this is a smaller lineup in a dynasty, sure, but this is a start 10, start 11. You might regret that.
I'd say even if it's like a 8-team league start 10, though, I would still go Brees. So overall, if it's a smaller league, I'm really, really happy with it.
Thank you so much for that super chat there. Van with another super chat. He says St. Brown, Olave, Waddle, Devonta Smith, Rice start for it. This is a crazy. For me, this is Amon-Ra, Waddle, Olave, and for me, this is Rice. Let me double check.
So you're sitting
Rice over
Smith.
Rice over Devonta Smith. All these guys are really close in my rankings.
Yeah,
this is
I
a
actually think
problem.
I would sit Smith too if I had to sit one of these names.
But
it's insane that those words are coming out of my mouth. But
I'm sitting Devonta Smith because Rice is technically the number one option in this offense. Hollywood Brown is out.
Yep.
Yeah, opener playing at home. It just makes sense to start Rice there. So once again, Olave, Brown, Waddle, and Rice would be for us.
Yep.
Back to the top here. If you guys want to skip the queue, all you have to do is drop a super chat. But the next question, if I'm not mistaken, is Yannick.
Yep.
Full PPR for flex, Higgins or Rice matchup favors Higgins. It does favor Higgins, but I'm starting Richie Rich.
Yeah, I would start Rice as well. I think Higgins is a fine option, but I don't see a scenario where Rice isn't always needed in that game. I think it'll be a very neutral game script. Could be wrong. Could project it wrong. But I see a scenario where the Bengals could be up big versus the Patriots and don't need to throw the ball. So that is a little scary. Danny's Finn says, hot take, Barkley will finish RB1. Love it.
Well,
Frankie says,
what's the question?
He says bad. The question is bad.
Is your team bad?
Maybe that's the question. No, it's not bad. Well, if you're starting
Tyler
Algier, then yes, it's a bad team.
You're struggling at the running back position, but I see Amon-Ra, Olave, Godwin, Flowers, Pitts, Kyler. Looks all right.
It's okay. Hopefully this is like a 14-team league because Tyler Algier should be nobody's RB2 regardless of what strategy you did in the draft, being honest. James Conner or Zamir White? I lean Conner barely.
Yeah, I do lean Conner as well. I lean Conner with you.
Yeah.
My quarterback is Kyler, so yeah.
Tyreek says, was sniped at tight end. Who's your starting between Noah Fant and Cole Kmet? I actually totally understand this question because that's what happened to me in my home league too. I do think Noah Fant's a really fun sleeper. I don't know that I really want to rely on him week 1. And I have these guys back-to-back on my rankings. I guess you lean Cole Kmet. I'm not excited about any of these guys, but I guess you lean Cole.
I would say this.
What do you think?
If Keenan Allen doesn't play, because I know he's dealing with an injury, I think that foot issue is Cole Kmet every day.
Okay, that was news to me. I didn't know he was.
If he does play, I mean,
wow.
I don't know if this was earlier last week.
Well, 4 days ago he missed practice. We should definitely have an update on that tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. If he's practicing tomorrow, then maybe it's still a toss up. But I personally think Cole Kmet's still gonna have a good opportunity in this offense. Look, they're both the last option on their offense. How about that? Right? Tyler Lockett, DK, JSN, Cole, and then you have Keenan, Rome, and DJ Moore, right? They're both the last option in the passing game. So I might just go with the team that might struggle a little bit more with the Bears in the debut with a rookie quarterback.
Okay.
So give me Cole Kmet.
Yeah, not really excited about any of those guys. It's kind of a flip a coin situation for me, but I get it. Johnny Pena says best strategy for one quarterback. He donated a super chat. Thank you, Johnny. He says, "What's the best strategy for one quarterback, two running backs, three wide receivers, a tight end, and two flex in a standard
So
league?"
3, 6,
When you say
7, 8,
standard, I
9.
assume you mean a league that has no points per reception, meaning receptions equal 0 points for every player. You only get points for yardage. And if that's the case, we're going heavy running back, even though you can start three wide receivers. We would go heavy running back because ultimately receptions do not matter in your format.
Yeah, I mean, it's really receptions are opportunities on the ground and touchdowns. So you want to go with those high players and get that volume either at the goal line or even in the air, even if it's a passing touchdown. So hopefully that helps. But definitely go check out Zach's video regarding that.
I do have a video, but I don't really cover like non-PPR formats there, but I will go ahead and paste it in the chat. It's called The Best Strategy for Every Single Fantasy Football Draft. Now, with no disrespect intended, I assume most people are playing with some sort of PPR at this point of fantasy football. But so yeah, hopefully
that helps. Thank you so much. Dole here with another super chat. He says start 9 QB1. Start 9 QB1 is Hurts. Okay, he says his team. So Hurts.
JT, I'm just reading Hall.
I'm reading out a weird position.
Puka and Joku have to start 3 flexes. Have Olave, Rice, Reed. How you guys are crazy. Okay, this is a dynasty team.
What trade should I?
So you start Olave, you start Marvin Harrison, you start Jaden Reed, or sorry, Rashee Rice.
Rashee Rice.
And I don't. He says, "What trade do I make?"
You don't have to make a trade, brother.
Why you would trade any of these players. They're all young. They're all elite. I don't see a reason to trade any single one of those names, to be honest with you.
I completely agree. Hold it. Don't overthink it. You're probably trading to trade.
Yep.
Calm it down. Wait for week 1. Wait for week 2. See what happens. Then you can start making moves.
Trade with a goal in mind. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time and making your roster probably a little bit worse.
Yeah, and if you want your team reviewed, you could also get your team reviewed by us on our Dynasty channel if you haven't heard as well. So definitely go check that out. Maybe Zach could put that link in the description.
Yes.
But if you really want
wants their team reviewed, by the way, regardless of if you're in a Dynasty or a redraft league, I'll paste that link in the chat. That will take you directly to get a team review from us. Maybe you just finished your draft and you want to know exactly what we would do with your draft or with your team. Maybe you want us to grade your team in in-depth analysis. I'll paste that link in the chat. Again, redraft or dynasty, that link will get your team reviewed. Make sure you choose the land, guys, Zach and Badaki. We appreciate you, Dole. The next one is from Sisana, who did donate.
Thank you so much.
And the question is Marvin Harrison, Debo, Tank Dell, Malik Neighbors start 2, 1 flex. Who do I sit? So you're starting Debo, you're starting Marvin, you're starting Malik. I would sit Tank Dell.
I agree. And I like that. I love Tank Dell, but I'm going
crazy to say that, but it's true.
Yeah. That's kind of wild. Thank you so much for the super chat, guys. If you want to skip the queue, all you have to do is drop a super chat. But we're going all the way back to the top in order. If I am not mistaken, it's Tone. Correct me if I'm wrong. Full PPR, single flex. I'm assuming we have to pick one out of Olave, Rice, Waddle, or Dell. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Close your eyes. Pick one.
I have no idea. Like,
close your eyes. Pick one.
If someone can actually tell you the answer to that question, you should also ask them the number to the Powerball this week because they can predict the future.
That is I'm gonna go. I'll go Waddle with you. Ian Coleman, full PPR, start 2 running backs. Is CMC, Devon, Kamara, and Singletary enough? That's great to me, man.
Yeah. What the heck? That's great.
What do you mean? What do you mean that's enough? That's plenty. You got too many.
No, that's
Actually,
great.
You don't have enough. I think that is great. What's happening? Goat rings. Look at his name. 7 goat rings. How'd you do that?
Wait,
he got the
is
hacks.
That goat rings?
7 goat rings.
He changed his name. Yeah.
He got the little hacks. What's happening, brother? How you doing?
Unless it's a new goat rings, we might have competition here. Maybe it is OG. I don't know. NMB is the next question.
Am I the only one worried about Ceedee? No one with his has ever finished the top 5 next year, let alone the wide receiver 1 again. Look, you're going pure based off talent now. If you're going off history, I can understand that, but you're going still with upside. If that's the case, you should be worried about drafting CMC. You should be worried about drafting Tyreek Hill. But you're always going to take those players because of the upside, because you're not going to reach on a guy like Garrett Wilson, who you believe is wide receiver one.
I think this type of narrative is a narrative where you're saying very few people have ever had 181 targets, 135 receptions in a single season. And it hasn't happened again. Very few people are Ceedee Lamb. So I'm not worried about it, but I understand.
Yeah, we answered Jake there.
Grant is the next one. He says, should I flex Devonta Smith or Brandon Ayuk in a half PPR? I lean Ayuk here, but I'm curious where you would stand.
I do lean Ayuk as well. If there's a report that comes out that Ayuk is going to be eased in a little bit,
I'm so go sorry. I lean Smith. I just double checked my rankings.
For me, it's Brandon Ayuk regardless. But like I said, I think it's really based on what these reports are going to look like this week. Because if that report comes out saying Brandon Ayuk, he's not going to be full. He's going to get, 60 to 50% of the snaps, and he's not going to be out there every time, is obviously Devonta Smith. But I think they might ease him in, which we'll probably get later this week.
I do think he's a full go. I mean, he knows the offense already, and he, he's been in meetings. He's been with the team, just not practicing. But my concern is more the matchup. I do think Sauce Gardner is on him all day. So that's enough for me to slightly lean Devonta Smith, even adding those outside factors that we don't really know about. But they are back-to-back in my rankings. So I can see why that would be a very, very tough question.
Got it. We like Xavier Worthy, Kels. Yeah.
We like him. I think he's much safer in best ball, but difficult to start this week unless he's your best option. We got to see it first for him. Forward is Zamir White. I'm going Zamir White.
Zamir White as well. 10-team PPR. Which flex neighbors or Devon?
How are you making this decision? Devon.
Yeah. Let's go in Devon as well. Terry, so I traded away Pitts and Kenneth Walker for Gibbs. Full PPR redraft thoughts.
Pittman,
yeah. My thought?
I'm overall not loving the deal personally, and the main reason is because Ferguson is a good starting tight end, but if I had Ferguson as my starter, I'm not using Kenneth Walker and Pittman to upgrade at running back. I'm probably using those names to upgrade at tight end. I'm gonna pair Pittman and Ferguson and upgrade at tight end and roll with Kenneth Walker. So I don't mind the idea, but I don't think you upgraded the right position.
Jar 12-team full PPR. Who should I start at flex? Cortland Sutton, Devin Singletary, or Xavier Worthy? For me, this will be Devin Singletary.
Yeah, all these options are middling, so I'll just shoot for upside with Worthy.
Raheem Mostert or Tony Pollard. Let's start there. I'm going to go Raheem Mostert.
I agree. And yes, Jalen Waddle is an incredible flex.
Yep.
Should I start Chase Brown? Videos coming out tomorrow on all the running backs, but I would say 75% of people have a better option than Chase Brown this week.
Yeah. Charbonnet or Jordan Mason. If you're saying to start, I'm going to say it's Charbonnet.
Yeah, I don't like either of those, but if you're stashing, I think Charbonnet still.
Yeah. Terry, best waiver wire, add McLaughlin, Polk, Lockett. Yeah, Polk. For me, it'll be Polk and then McLaughlin. That's what I would say.
It'd be Polk, McLaughlin, and Wicks for me in that order.
Coda, should I start Ayuk or Flowers? And my flex would be Ayuk for me.
Yes, I agree.
And who are you feeling at flex at 12-man PPR? Tank Dell, Xavier Worthy. That would be Tank Dell for me.
I agree. Schultz or Njoku? Njoku, right?
Njoku, yep. Kevin said, not a question, but the first fantasy year, and y'all have helped me out a lot already. We appreciate you, Kevin. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Glad that we can help. Should I have done the Dak Ceedee stack or Kyler Ceedee is fine? Kyler Ceedee is fine. We don't don't
people force stacks too much. Don't
force stacks.
Kyler's probably higher in everyone's rankings anyway. You did well. Arian.
And a half, yeah. If it had in a half PPR, if you had to start either Ayuk, Connor, or Pacheco in the flex, who would you choose? It would be
Pacheco.
Ayuk. It would be Pacheco for you. It'd be Ayuk for me. I get it though. The matchup is difficult. Love all the vids. Wish you the best. Hey, we appreciate you, man.
Yeah, it would be Pacheco for me. That offense, he was averaging over 18 touches per game last year. He is still going to be the dominant name, but the offense could be better because it actually wasn't that good last year. So I would lean Pacheco, but I understand why Ayuk would be the answer. I just hate the matchup. I hate that matchup more than any other matchup in fantasy this week.
They're both have tough matchups. I mean, the Ravens are pretty bad or good at not giving up points. I think they were top
I agree. But if I was to rank like positional worst matchups, I would say Sauce Gardner covering Ayuk is going to be the worst matchup this week. But that doesn't mean you sit him. It's the one I worry about the most.
Yeah, Threshold Cinco, how you doing, brother? He says full PPR, pick one: Higgins, JSN, Brian Thomas, or JMO. This is a great question. Brian Thomas or Higgins, we technically haven't gotten yet.
To me, that's easy. I love Brian Thomas, but Higgins is much safer.
Yeah, I'm going T Higgins. I thought it would be harder for you because I was going to go T Higgins.
I love Brian Thomas, but T Higgins is much safer this week for sure.
Okay, good to know.
No, when you have an option like that you know has that 30-point ceiling on any given week already, don't get too cute.
Yeah, we did get a super chat here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Jonathan. He says flex, Worthy, Walker, Polk, Palmer, Chase Brown, Taysom.
So that's a really tough question. Warren is difficult for me to start because he's coming off that hamstring injury. I don't know what his role will be. Palmer is probably the safest name
exactly.
here.
That's where I was going to go. I was going to go Palmer.
I have Worthy one spot ahead of Palmer.
I do have Worthy ahead of Palmer. But I feel like if I'm looking at, and I mean, maybe I need to change him now because I'm convincing myself.
We do these streams and then you really start to feel what your conviction is. But
exactly, because I mean, if I'm looking at who's the wide receiver one on this offense, is Palmer. He's still paired with an elite quarterback in Justin Herbert, and Worthy is paired with Patrick Mahomes, but he's not the number one receiver. He has to go through Kelsey. He has to go through Rice. And then it's Worthy. Where Palmer at the moment, we're projecting him to be number one.
So I hear you, but in a game without Hollywood, he will be a starter in 2 wide receiver sets.
Sure.
So that is something that we should think about because he technically is a starter without Hollywood on the field. I lean Worthy here, higher upside, but Palmer is a safer play. I can see that.
I can definitely understand that as well. Thank you so much for the super chat. If you guys want to skip the queue, all you have to do is drop a super chat, but we're going in order back to the top here.
And Charlene, I think, is the next one.
Algier or Piron?
No, you guys are struggling here. Algier, I guess.
Yeah, Tyler Algier. Trey, full PPR. Warren or Deontay is Deontay for the both of us.
I agree.
Neighbors or Flowers? It would be Neighbors.
I agree.
Who do you got? Threshold Cinco says, who you guys better bench stash? Bucky Irving or Tyrone? It's Tyrone.
I would say Tyrone. Both are great options, but Tyrone to me, I would say Rachaad White has a firmer grasp on the depth chart than Devin Singletary does.
Sure.
Johnny says, how y'all feel about starting wide receivers, Diggs and Metcalf? Should I target anybody to replace them? Like trade for anybody? Well, I just released a video on the channel today. 10 players I'm trying to trade for before week 1. Go check that out, Johnny boy. I can promise you there are multiple wide receivers that I talk about, but as far as like right now heading into the season, you've got Diggs, you got Metcalf. I don't see a reason to panic trade at this point. Just in general, guys, it's very difficult to trade before the season. Why? Because everyone has already solidified their opinions for the most part on how they project players, their opinions of players. But what happens in week 1 is everybody overreacts. They overreact positively, they overreact negatively. So after week 1, it's like this floodgate opens and so many trades are able to happen. You can find the buy low, you can find the sell high. But at this point, everyone's very stuck in their opinion, so it makes it very difficult to trade.
Completely agree. I think we answer Neighbors and Flowers. We go Neighbors. Parson 12-team full PR redraft keeper league. How are the
Starters are
starters
looking good, man. I mean,
Looking great.
Dak's a fine quarterback. I like your running back room. You got the best receiver in the game right now. A great tight end. Some upside on the bench. I'm a fan of it. CeeDee Lamb or Christian McCaffrey with the first pick. Yeah.
I've always said pick your poison.
Yeah. There's not a wrong answer here.
I don't think there's a wrong answer. If you want to go your wide receiver 1, if you want to go your RB 1, I think both of these guys can, I guess, production and scoring outlook are very, very similar.
I think for me, it's like, are you in a start 9 where you can start 5 receivers? I'll go Lamb first. Are you in a start 7 where you can only start 3 receivers, 1 flex? Then I would go CMC. We did get a super chat from Ben, and this is a tough one. He says Debo or Pittman. I do lean Debo myself. I worry less about Debo versus the Jets simply because I don't think he's going to be covered by Sauce. Do you also agree with Debo over Pittman?
Yeah, I do. I like Debo over Pittman this week. Thank you so much for that super chat there, Ben. We did get another one. Pino.
Okay.
It says opinion. 10-team half PPR, CMC, Devontae Adams, Cup. Okay, first CMC, Devontae Adams, Cup in 2021 pass on Devon. Did I lose it for me? So I'm assuming
I guess that's like the 20th overall pick in his draft. Maybe he passed on Devon Achane. I mean, I don't. We can't read the future, so I couldn't tell you for sure if you lost on that yet.
I'm a little bit confused about this. So
I think his roster is CMC, Adams, Cup. He has Love, Kamara, Kittle, and Waddle as well. My friend, you've built a very good team. There is no reason to be unhappy with that team. Achane is a boom bust player, so there's a chance he can be the best player in fantasy football. There's a chance he can get injured with his undersized frame. So, yeah, there's no reason to be upset right now or worried. No one knows the future, but I think you drafted well.
Yeah, I think you drafted well. I will nitpick and just say if you had the opportunity to take Devon and Devon Achane and then Devontae Adams, I would have gone the running back over Adams. But sure. I understand. But hopefully that helps.
And thank you so much for the super chat. It also doesn't really matter what you should have done anymore. It's just about moving forward, how to make the best team anyway.
Yeah. We get another super chat from Jonathan. It says, how are we feeling about Amari rest of the season? My wide receiver 2 in the full point PPR. I mean, I like Amari. I don't think I haven't drafted him as my wide receiver 2. I think I've always got him as my wide receiver 3. But
you and I draft differently to
some of these other players
in a start 7. We're normally in a start 9 range. But
yeah, so if you,
I like him. I like Amari Cooper.
He
is my wide receiver rest of season rankings. My wide receiver 26. He's just a tough name because he's been in the league so long. He's not a hot name anymore. He is over the age of 30. We know at any point those type of receivers can fall off a cliff. I'm not suggesting he will, but he's in a good offense. Deshaun Watson could bounce back, and if Watson doesn't, you have Jameis Winston, who's supported multiple fantasy wide receivers in the past. So I think he's a very reliable 2-3 wide receiver on your team.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the super chat there, guys. If you guys want to skip the queue, all you have to do is drop a super chat. And I think we left off with Tony.
Well, we did just get another super chat actually from XOL Gaming. So XOL Gaming is going to skip the queue here. He's showing us his team: Roger Stafford, Walker, Mixon, Montgomery, Chase, Wilson, Metcalf, McBride, Hawkinson. How's my team? Good team. I can think of maybe 18 quarterbacks I'd rather have than Rodgers or Stafford, to be honest with you. But I like the running back room. Your wide receivers are crazy with Chase and Wilson. It's great that you have an elite tight end and McBride. So you did well, but yeah, like I said, I can think of so many other quarterbacks I'd rather have than those 2 names. So that would be my main area of where you need to improve. I'd even rather have a Jared Goff, a Kirk Cousins, a Tua, for example, but
Yep.
Stafford would be my starter as of right now. But overall,
As of
good
this
team.
week. Yeah, great team. Thank you so much for that super chat there. We did get another one from Miguel Merks. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. How you doing? If I'm not mistaken, you were in the super chats a lot last year. I could be wrong. Feel like I remember your name. He said, "What's up, guys? Flex, Tank, Sutton, or B Rob?" In a full PPR, this would be Tank Dell for me.
Yeah, Eileen tanked out as well.
Yeah,
Sutton could be one of those sleeping giants, but we got to
he
see it
could
first
be.
with Bo Nix.
With
All
Bone Nix, yeah.
right, those are all the super chats for now. We appreciate y'all big time. We do answer the questions from top to bottom in order, unless there's a super chat, which skips the queue. The next
Yeah.
one that I can see,
It was Tony.
yeah, go ahead with Tony.
Correct me if I'm wrong. So, would you rather have Zamir, Cup, or Rasheed Rice and Walker?
Rice and Walker.
Yeah. The running back is just better. I say Cooper Cup and Rasheed Rice is not too far off, and then Kenneth Walker for Zamir White is the better running back play there. Amari Cooper or Tank Dell? That's a great question as well. These guys are actually a little bit closer for me. I have Tank a couple spots higher, just based off of the
Yeah.
matchup.
Let me double check because that is a tough one actually. I can't say off the top of the dome.
Yeah, based off the matchup,
I am going to Amari Cooper actually.
I have Tank higher, but I can understand why that is difficult because Amari Cooper, wide receiver 1, Tank Dell is either 1, 2, or 3, but he has the quarterback play.
Yeah.
I can understand that. I can understand that.
By the way, someone ordered some attention, so let's give Conscious the attention that he ordered here. He wants to make fun of people for donating to have an opinion. There's the attention you ordered, brother.
I didn't even see it.
Let's go back up to the top here. I think the next one is from Brian, who says, "How do you feel about Marvin Mims as a late round dart throw?" Indifferent. Yeah. I'm really not excited about Marvin Mims. I really, and I'll hold my hand up and say I'm wrong if I am, but I can't think of a scenario where I'm excited to start him. I think Troy Franklin, there's more unknowns there. So I don't know, but and by the way, Devon Vele is getting a lot of hype, the 26-year-old rookie. I don't know if you know much about him. We talked about him in the Dynasty channel to stash him, but I guess because there's unknowns in that wide receiver room, you can choose a name, but it's not exciting to me.
It's not exciting to me either. I think the only guy I would be excited about I think there would be a pathway is Troy Franklin because he has the history with Bo Nix, coming out of college. That's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, I can understand that. Worthy or JSN from Everyday Pair?
Good question. That's actually a very good.
That's a great question.
That's very.
I mean, from what you're telling me, I currently have JSN above Worthy, but from what you're telling me,
I would go JSN as well. I would go JSN.
But what you're telling me, he's going to be a wide receiver. 2 wide receivers says Worthy's going to be there.
Well, yeah, no Hollywood Brown. We saw it in preseason. Xavier Worthy was out there in 12 personnel, 2 wide receiver sets.
That makes it difficult, you know. Like,
still.
That's a difficult one. I'll be honest with you. Every day, that's a huge toss up for me.
Yeah,
that's harder than you think, but yeah, that's tough. I do have JSN in my rankings higher. The Rising, pick one, Warren or Gus Edwards. For me, it'd be Gus the Bus.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
Okay. Leo, Zamir Wyatt, or T. Higgins in my flex would be T. Higgins for the both of us. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I agree. I really love Zamir White this week, but if you're in any sort of PPR, yeah, I'm good with that. Johnny Boy says, how y'all feel about starting Diggs and Metcalf? I think we already talked about this.
Yeah, I think, and we did Donald as well.
Yep.
I think Blizzard
maybe. James Conner, Zay Flowers, or Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon for me.
Yeah, Joe Money Bags, baby.
He is going to be so bad, so inefficient, so boring to watch.
The yards per carry.
Score so many fantasy points, it won't matter. Him and Alvin Kamara. TJ Daniels says, do I start Drake London or Josh Palmer? London.
Come on, brother.
It's
Drizzy Drake. Nico Collins or Devonta Smith. This is Nico for me.
Yeah. Is Gibbs crazy at 6 overall? Yes, Nick. I genuinely can't imagine a scenario where he's the best player available at 6 overall, personally.
Yeah.
That means you're
Me
maybe
answer,
taking him
Jake.
over Brees or Bijan. That means you're maybe taking him over Amon-Ra. I can't stomach that, personally.
Agreed.
We
Godwin
answered
or
the
T?
Daniels or Dak one.
Yeah, Godwin's or T. We had this already, didn't we?
I don't think we have, because I haven't actually tested that in my rankings
That's
yet.
why. That's why.
I
That's
have
why I
Godwin
said
one
it.
spot higher.
I have T. I have T higher.
Yeah.
I have T
I'll just
higher.
say my quick 30-second Twitter version.
Sure.
The Commanders were second in points given to wide receivers
Points.
last year.
Yeah.
They only got worse as a secondary. Our defense got better, but our secondary got worse. We might be the worst secondary in the entire NFL. And Godwin's back in the slot. I think this is a reminder game of how good he is to the general public.
Love to see it. Love to see it. We just get a super chat here from Jonathan. He said, thoughts on Mason and Danny's trade? Oh my goodness. Don't get us started there.
It was funny because, so if you guys don't know, we're in a fantasy football league with all the flock creators. And honestly, none of us thought that this channel would blow up, but it is slowly, surely, not even slowly, it is rapidly blowing up. It's hilarious because we have been building this channel for like 2.5 years now, and we just hit 20K. This video, 6 days ago, we started releasing content, and this channel's gonna overtake us so quickly. It's hilarious. Everyone loves this content, and genuinely, my thoughts in this video of that trade are genuine. I'm not, because I saw some people in the chat being like, are these guys playing this up? Is this scripted? And I'm like, no, these are genuine thoughts. I genuinely think Danny made a terrible trade. So, yeah.
But like Danny, he believes it. He believes that he makes a good trade, and like he's saying, oh, I'm okay. I have Rico Dowdle and Chase Brown. He was like, wait, what? You have Rico Dowdle and Chase Brown, and you trade away Ramondre Stevenson. Anyways. Go check that out. If you haven't subscribed to that channel, go check out that channel. Go watch those videos.
Yes, it's blowing up.
Yeah, it's been awesome over there. But thank you so much for that super chat. If you guys want to skip the queue, all you have to do is drop a super chat, and if not, we're gonna go in order. But we did get another one from Darrell. He says, I need a 4th wide receiver PPR. I got all for Sutton for Dowdle. My other running backs are Hall, Zamir White, Chuba Hubbard, and McLaughlin. I need a 4th wide receiver.
As weird as it sounds, like Sutton feels like a very, man, I could be wrong. Like the way Sutton becomes a real league winner is if Bo Nix is a superstar from day one.
100%. Yeah, Bo Nix needs to be CJ Stroud for this.
Exactly. And that's a really tough bet to make. I think Dowdle has a higher range of outcome. But what's a name instead of, you know what I mean? Like instead of Sutton that you would target with Dowdle? Like I think you could target a Deontay Johnson, maybe a Ladd McConkey.
Yeah, I mean you can go on
Christian Watson.
Yeah, Shakir, maybe DeAndre Hopkins. You can do. I don't know if that's too low.
That might be too low for me. I'd rather, yeah, no, you're right. I'd rather have Hopkins. Well, even Keon Coleman's not a bad name.
Yeah, Keon. I mean, you can go to the names of like, I mean, I know we don't like him, but maybe you do. Keenan Allen. I think I would rather have Rico personally.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen, I've just been completely avoiding this year. Maybe at Jordan Addison. I don't know if you can get Jordan Addison though, but yeah, those are a couple names there that will be interesting. But hopefully that helps, man.
Yeah. Here's what I would say, Daryl. I feel I got Hubbard on a lot of teams. I could be wrong, but I feel like he's going to be a great trade high target after the first couple weeks. All right. People will forget.
Chuba Hubbard. Yeah.
Yeah.
About Brooks.
They'll forget about how good he has been as a starter, which has been decent. And those running back needy teams will be willing to trade for Hubbard, I think. And honestly, there might be a scenario where Jonathan Brooks, his recovery gets pushed back even further, and then you can sell Chuba to the Brooks owner as well. So anyway.
Yeah, but
hopefully
appreciate that super chat. Thank you so much. Back to the top we go. Got to scroll all the way up. Appreciate all the love that you guys have been showing so far. Everyday pair says Brian Thomas or Kirk. I think we both go Brian Thomas, excuse me.
Well, are we? Because we've been on different sides of this page.
No, yeah. Well, I said a couple weeks.
I'm sorry. Maybe I didn't realize this switch.
Bro,
So you did switch from.
Yeah, ever since preseason happened, like, okay, holy shit, I gotta revamp my things here.
Okay.
So I'm 100% with Brian Thomas.
I remember when those first couple weeks, it was like people. I firmly had Brian ahead of Kirk in my rankings, but it wasn't consensus. I think now people are starting to be open to it. So we're on the same 100%. Page then. Okay.
Yeah, no question. Give me start one, Richie Rich or DJ Moore.
Oh, that's impossible to answer. Genuinely. Who the hell has the answer to that question? I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's a tough one. In my rankings right now, I do have DJ Moore higher. I'm curious where you have him in your rankings.
I have Rice one spot higher.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
Jesus is a savior.
I mean, talk it out. DJ Moore against the Titans. The Titans were top 10 in points allowed last year to the wide receiver position.
Yeah.
The Baltimore Ravens last year were bottom 10 in points allowed.
Here's the only reason I lean Rashee Rice, because the matchup is better for DJ. But the only reason I lean Rashee Rice is because I already know Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL.
Yeah, quarterback play.
I think Caleb Williams can be incredible. I just don't know if he can support receivers yet. We believe he can. There's so much evidence that he can, but there is far more evidence Patrick Mahomes can do that. So I lean him slightly, but I'm sorry, I don't have a confident answer for you.
Yeah, hopefully that helps. In my rankings, I have DJ Moore higher. Zach has Rice higher. Choose your poison. TJ, we answer this already. Doc, in a 10-man full PPR standard ESPN, Waddle or Amari Cooper for wide receiver 2.
Waddle.
Standard?
I'm still going Waddle.
You think Waddle? I'm thinking of just touchdowns. You think Waddle finds the end zone over Amari?
I think Waddle could have 200 yards. I think Amari could have 60.
Sure. I just lost my place in the queue here.
Blizzard 10-team dynasty. Garrett Wilson in the 4th or Ayuk, Luke Musgrave in an early 2nd. Garrett Wilson
in the 4th.
Here's the reality. A name like Luke Musgrave, respectfully, not going to make a huge difference in the 10-team league. An early 2nd, respectfully, not going to make a huge difference in the 10-team league. Get the best player in the deal. It's easily Garrett Wilson there. Dotco says, in a 10-man PPR, Waddle. We answered that. All right, Dotco, you're getting close, bro. You're getting close to getting banned, all right? Same with you, Jake. I've seen this question 6 times. Have some damn patience. Tyreek says, is Justin Fields...
I mean, Jocko and Jake actually have a lot in there. Anyways, is Justin Fields draft worthy? Look, in a Superflex league, I took him. I have Justin Fields in the league because I'm projecting him to be the starter in the second half of the season, especially with the rushing upside. And one quarterback, no.
Yeah.
Mostert or Ford, I think we both go Raheem the Dream.
Yep.
Malik Neighbors or Chris Godwin.
Neighbors.
Yep. Tank Dell or Neighbors.
Yep.
Pick Chase Brown over Bijan at the 105, 12 team. Okay, did I mess up? No, we will go Chase at the 105. Oh, a half PPR. No, I'll still go Chase.
In a half PPR, I think I would go Bijan.
No worries.
Especially because there's only one flex, but I don't think you messed up. That's silly. Like, no, you didn't mess up. It's just preference.
Yeah. 10-team full PPR worth for me to trade Mostert and Jonathan Brooks for their Javonte Williams. Mostert and Jonathan Brooks for their Javonte. I'm keeping Raheem Mostert and Jonathan Brooks.
No way.
Yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you.
What have we seen with Javonte Williams in the last 3 years to say that that's a good trade? And we think he could be fantastic. We think he could bounce back big time, but absolutely not. 369 did donate.
Thank you so much, brother.
He says, is Jonathan Brooks expected to be a starter when healthy? Yes, I would say so.
Yeah, I would think so. As well, if you guys want to skip the queue, all you have to do is drop a super chat.
And by the way, it wouldn't be instantly. It's not like Jonathan Brooks plays in week 5 and you're starting him. No, it's got to give like 2 or 3 weeks, I'd say, before you're starting him with confidence.
Yeah, no question.
Friendly reminder, if you spam messages in the chat, you are likely to get put in timeout. Don't make me do it. All right? Nobody's question is more valuable than anyone else's. All right? We're trying to help everybody out.
Adam, Pacheco or Josh Jacobs? PPR. This is a great question.
Jacobs for me.
I have JJ. Yeah, I didn't know if you had Pacheco higher, but I have JJ for me.
Yeah, Jacobs for me.
Tyreek says, how do you feel about Chuba, Jonathan Brooks stack? That's great. We kind of been saying that if you're going to draft Jonathan Brooks, you need to go 2-3 rounds later and pick up Chuba Hubbard.
I think he's like a fine start, until Jonathan Brooks gets going.
Yeah.
Angelo says 1 point per 20 yards, Stafford or Trevor.
I'm going Stafford there.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I do lean Trevor. Just because game script wise, I see the Dolphins putting up a shit ton of points, and I don't think there's a point in this game where Trevor needs to stop throwing the ball. So,
well, wouldn't you say the same thing for Matthew Stafford and the Lions?
You totally could.
Just out of curiosity, I'm not.
No.
I'm not. I can hear the argument with Trevor Lawrence, but I think I can say the same thing with Matthew Stafford. But
yeah,
no, I get it though.
You could totally make that argument. Maybe I'm too high on Brian Thomas, but. Yeah,
no, that's okay.
Trevor Lawrence there.
John, half PPR, need a flex between Cooper Kupp, Tank Dell, and Mostert. I think I'm going still Cooper Kupp in the half PPR. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We answered Blizzard. Malcolm said, "Do I start James Cook or Augusta Bus?" You're going James Cook, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Colin says, "Hey guys, would you take Garrett Wilson, AJ Brown, or Jonathan Taylor in a full PPR? Also, why are people not high on Kelsey?" I mean, yes, I would take all these guys in a full PPR, just depending on where you're getting them. If you're talking about your draft and you're at the 110, 111.
I think it's a trade. Garrett Wilson, AJ Brown. Oh wait, no, you're right. It is a draft. Sorry, you
like if it's in a draft, it just depends on where you're at. If you're at the 110, maybe AJ Brown is there and you have him high. In order is AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Jonathan Taylor. That's the order. No matter where you're drafting from.
To me, I'm picking between Garrett Wilson and AJ. As much as I love JT, It would be one of those names.
And people aren't high on Kelsey because they're scared of the age and injury. And
the reality is, history tells us 35-year-old tight ends don't produce. However, history ignores the fact that Travis Kelce is the greatest tight end of all time, debatably. I don't care who you think it is. All right, but the issue really with Kelce is not so much his age. It's that he's already declined last year. We've already seen the start of a decline from one year to the next as an aging player. That's why people are concerned. And there are more weapons in this offense than there has been in a while. Mr. Magic says, rank these guys, Saquon, JT, Gibbs, and Pacheco. It would be Saquon for me, then... Yep. Or, sorry, Saquon and Gibbs would be in the same exact tier. Then it would be JT and Pacheco.
Yeah, I was going to say Saquon, Gibbs, JT, Pacheco. That's what it is. For me, Logan, great team. I'm assuming you're asking about your team.
Yeah, looks good.
RB2, struggling a little bit with Chase Brown there. Actually, how far off these players rest of the season? Gibbs, JT, Waddle, London, McBride, Ferguson. I think he'll break out.
I love Ferguson, but McBride is the one clear tier up from those names you mentioned. Everyone else I'd put in the same tier.
Yeah, I agree. I think we answered Heisenberg on the super chat. Full Blizzard, PPR man. Rice for Neighbors.
You're killing me, Blizzard. You're killing me, dog. Some of y'all getting close to a ban. I'm kidding.
You're cheesing me, dog. Rice or Neighbors? That's a good question. I think I have Rice currently, but Neighbors with the volume is really close. How you doing, Scooby?
What's up? Jake says, should I keep Hill, Hall, or Chase? Hill for me.
Hill, Hall. Should I keep Hill, Hall, or Chase? Yeah. Wait, where are you seeing this question? I'm not seeing that question.
Well, Hill, Hall, or Chase. Who are you keeping?
Brees, Hill, Hall, or Chase? I'm going to go Jamar Chase.
So, come on, brother. You're not taking Jamar Chase over Tyreek Hill. I know your rankings.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's what I'm trying to read it.
I know it's Tyreek for both of us, guys. I know
it is Tyreek. I'm so sorry.
Tyler says, never seen the show before. Just subscribed. Quick question. Start three.
Thank you so much.
Rice, Ridley, Deontay, or Terry. This is Rice for me.
There's that question. Okay,
this is Ridley, and I have to choose between Deontay or Terry here. And I believe I lean Terry, but let me double check.
Rice, Ridley,
Yes.
Terry, Deontay.
I lean Terry. So as much as I love Deontay, he'd be the sit for me.
This one is Deontay for me, but yeah, I hear you.
I meant to say Deontay would be the sit for me. So I am starting Rice, Ridley, Terry. Dawit donated a super chat, but no question.
No question as of yet.
At least I don't see one. I'm trying to see if there's one here.
Above. Yeah, I don't see one either. All right, we'll come back to that here. Tyreek, full PPR, Waddle or Pickens will be Waddle for the both of us.
Yes, I'm trying to get back to where I was. I can't.
No worries. Jose Diaz, he said Chase Brown or Jalen Warren benches. Chase Brown or Jalen Warren bench stash. I personally want to stash Chase Brown, but
I'm fine with that.
I think they're both. Since Josh Palmer's on waivers.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
it sounds like a
that's
smaller league then. But
yeah,
I guess Chase. I don't know. I think I'd stash Warren personally. But
I hear that. I hear that. We did get a
Angel
super chat.
with a donation. Super chats do skip the queue here, and Angel's done that. 12-man full PPR. Goff, Kyron, Mostert, AJ Brown, Nico, Rice, Laporta. Incredible starting roster.
Incredible.
The bench is Pickens, Moss, McConkey, Ford, Corum. I think you've built a monster, man. Really, really well done. I love the upside of Pickens and McConkey on your bench. That's insane. And love the stash of a Corum who could literally win leagues if Kyron goes down. So A+ draft.
A plus. Thank you so much for that super chat. We appreciate you guys. If you want to skip the queue, all you have to do is drop a super chat. If not, we're going in order.
Yep.
Back to the top here. My goodness. Gotta go all the way up. Xavier Worthy, Deontay Johnson. It'll be Deontay Johnson.
Yes.
For me?
Yes.
Ridley or Godwin?
Haven't had that question yet.
This is a good question. Calvin Ridley or Godwin? I know my rankings, once again, I haven't been big on Chris Godwin. But, I mean, every time Zach's talking about Chris Godwin, I'm getting convinced. But for me, it's Calvin Ridley.
I can't believe
I want to be on your side. Like, I don't know. Like,
no,
I want to believe you.
I'm saying I can't believe that my rankings say Chris Godwin, but they do. Is DeAndre Hopkins playing?
Apparently, he is he's on pace to play.
Okay.
From what I've heard. Optimism that the wide receiver will play in the opener.
If DeAndre Hopkins plays, Chris Godwin. If he does not, Calvin Ridley.
Sure. Chris, Watson or Jerome Ford week 1 as a second flex at PPR. Yeah, I'm going Watson. Favorite handcuff, Mason, Allen, or Irv? It'll be
Mason.
Yeah, it'll be Mason. Connor or Mostert? It'll be Mostert.
Very close, for both. Though. Very close.
Let me know.
But
okay.
Yes.
Neighbors or Terry will be Neighbors for me.
I agree. Let's get it, Charlie. Go kill your draft, brother.
Come on, baby.
Do I trade Pickens and Ford for Neighbors and Brian Thomas? I would.
Yeah,
I would take Neighbors 100%. And Brian Thomas.
Do it right now. Stop what you're doing. Go do it. What do you guys think of Mostert versus Javonte? I think we'll both go Raheem Mostert as a straight up trade. Excuse me. I have Mostert, but I'm worried about him as far as a split backfield.
Here's the thing with the Miami backfield, okay? 10 touches in a Miami backfield is worth 25 touches in a Denver backfield. If you look at fantasy points per snap last year, the Dolphins had the top 3 players. The top 3 players in fantasy points per snap, Achane, Raheem Mostert, Tyreek Hill. So all offenses aren't created equal. All touches aren't created equal. That's how I feel about Mostert. Tyler says, who do I flex? Ridley, Harris, Deontay, Johnson, or Chuba? I think it'd be Ridley for me.
Yeah, it's Ridley for me as well.
TJ says, boys, I know you're talking NFL and helping everyone out, but right now, 2 new young guns are saying Caleb and Jaden who? As in non-dynasty players? What do you mean? Maybe. I don't know. I appreciate you, DX. Thanks for joining the stream. Martin says, what do you think of my team? Any changes? Really solid.
I feel like we did this team already, maybe not, but yeah, but it's a great team.
Great team.
Great team.
Yeah. Tight end is, I mean, no, you're solid all the way across.
Mm.
Eagles defense, is that okay to leave in? Craig says. Eagles are fine. I do think there are maybe better options out there than the Eagles. Remember, their secondary was cheeks last year, so I would rather play the Falcons versus Pittsburgh. I'd rather play the Bucks versus the Commanders. I'd rather play the Browns this week, the Jets, the Steelers, the Cowboys, the Seahawks versus Denver, the Bengals versus New England, the Saints versus Carolina. I think those are all better matchups personally.
Yeah, I agree. Where are we at?
Fragile Connection says, got commit after punting tight end. Taysom's available. Should I opt for Taysom instead? Yeah, like this is one of those ones where if you know when to start Taysom Hill, you should also tell me the numbers to the next Powerball because you can't predict the future. No idea. Yeah. I have no idea when you'll want to and when you won't want to start Taysom Hill.
Every year in this cycle, Taysom Hill. No.
Yeah.
No.
Taysom Hill could score 40 points this week. He could score less than one. And that is every single week going in.
And you're saying, damn, I should have gone, anyways. Thank you for the super chat there, Bill. Bill Nye, the science guy. 10-team super flex start 10. 3 wide receiver draft. Quarterback is Caleb, Stafford, Geno, May. Okay. That's a lot of quarterbacks. But yes, that is super flex. Bijan, Pacheco, Javonte Williams, Jonathan Brooks, great running back room. The wide receivers, you got Puka, Waddle, DK, Richie, Rich, Dontavion Wicks, and tight end is David Njoku. This is a great team, brother. This is a great team. I will say, one too many quarterbacks. I don't think you need to have these many quarterbacks. Maybe you go pick up another wide receiver. I don't know.
Honestly, I disagree because I think May is a great stash, and I think we don't know if Caleb is going to be good or not. We think he can, so you have Stafford and Geno as safety, and I think May's an incredible stash. What I was going to say is I felt like your quarterback should have been much stronger in a 10-team Superflex. That feels like maybe the worst quarterback room in your league. Not with no disrespect intended. But I imagine if we saw the rest of your league, that might be the worst quarterback room.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
You don't have a top 10 ranking quarterback there.
And I guess you really only paid off with that with getting Bijan and Puka and Waddle and like you didn't get like a top tight end. You didn't get an elite tight end. You didn't get something else.
Your running backs and wide receivers are super strong, but yeah. Anyway.
Thank you for that super chat. Black Mamba. I don't see a message from Black Mamba there, but if you do have one, put it down in the chat. We'll go to the next. I also
never saw Dawit drop a message with his super chat.
Yeah, I never saw that as well. But both guys, if you Darwit and Black Mamba, just drop it in the chat. You don't have to donate since you're already donating. We'll get to it. But G16 is the next guy up. 10-team half PPR, 2 quarterbacks, up to 5 wide receivers. Okay, you just want your thoughts on this team here so far. So
this is that was a 10 team we just talked about. This is a 10 team. They have Josh Allen and Dak Prescott. That's the type of quarterback room you really want when you can start 2 quarterbacks. But H.N. Pollard, Jefferson, Waddle, Rice, JSN, Adunze, Kincaid, brother, killed it.
Yeah,
elite tight end, elite quarterback, along with a very good second option. Your running back room is a little suspect, but there's clearly high upside there. I love the Corum stash. I love the Brooks stash. I think he killed it.
Going back to the top, let us know once you put those messages there, Black Mama and Darwit. Back to the top, if you want to skip the queue, all you have to do is drop a super chat. I think the next one is Tyler. Who do I flex? PPR, Ridley, Najee, Deontay. I think we answered this. I think we both said Ridley. Isaiah, DJ Moore, or Deontay Johnson. I think we'll both go DJ Moore. You let me know.
Yeah, I would agree.
Big Dan, who do I start? Neighbors or 40? Going Malik Neighbors, no question.
I agree. But after he's going to answer these questions, they won't be up on the screen because I just have to go pee real quick.
Yeah, and then we're going to swap because I need to do the same. Ryan, I'm going to keep her league. I'm keeping Waddle in a league. Would you recommend drafting Tyreek or should I go Chase? Look, I personally have Tyreek over Chase. It would limit your upside week to week, so maybe you draft Tyreek, try and trade Waddle in season. That's what I would say, Ryan. Jake B, thoughts on Josh Jacobs this year? I like Josh Jacobs. I was a little bit skeptical in the first half of the season because of Marshawn Lloyd. I would say this. Once Marshawn Lloyd is 100% healthy, I think we're going to be seeing a decrease in Josh Jacobs' production and ceiling. Not because of Josh Jacobs, but because of the history we've seen in this Matt LaFleur offense. We've seen it with Aaron Jones. We've seen it with A.J. Dillon. Right now, it just transitions to a whole nother scheme. We've never seen Aaron Jones get 80 to 90% of the workload. It may seem like it, but it was always a 60-40, a 50-50. Aaron Jones just did the most with his opportunity. So keep that in mind. But we do like Josh Jacobs this year. I do see that message here from Black Mamba. Thank you so much for that super chat once again. Going to the Black Mamba message. He says, do I flex Marvin Harrison Jr. or Raheem Mostert? 10-team standard scoring. My wide receivers. Yes, Ramondre Stevenson, no doubt about it. My wide receivers are Olave and Waddle.
Sorry. You're starting Ramondre?
I think I'm going to start Ramondre in the standard league.
I'm sorry, Marvin. You said Marvin or Raheem Mostert. I was just clarifying. He's saying Ramondre. For me, this is Marvin Harrison Jr.
I think I'm going to go with Ramondre just because of the yardage. Like, correct me if I'm wrong.
To me, Ramondre has little to no appeal in a non-PPR format. Like, absolutely no appeal whatsoever.
You're right.
Literally no appeal. Terrible offense. Won't get rewarded for receptions. Unlikely to score a touchdown. To me, this is like with 100% confidence, Marvin Harrison Jr.
I'm just thinking, Ramondre Stevenson, PPR, he catches the passes. Maybe I'm doing this for too long. We got to call it soon because I'm going crazy. Marvin Harrison Jr., I need to use the bathroom now. Maybe it's my bladder. I'll swap you.
All right. Jonathan Lee says Amari Cooper plus Corum for Neighbors. Yes, give me Neighbors. Give me Neighbors. But what you could probably do, Jonathan, as well, is do a little swap on the end of that. So does he have like a Nick Chubb he can send you? Does he have... Let me look at my rankings here. Does he have... I'm trying to think of like another name he could send you back. Like a Jalen Wright, a Jaleel McLaughlin, a Zach Charbonnet he can send you in return. Like, what's the player he's going to drop? Can you counter and ask for that? But overall, I really like that deal for you to get Malik Neighbors. All right, going back up to the top here. We're probably going to stop streaming here soon, guys. I'll be honest with you. We've been going for over 2 hours now. I just want to quickly say, if you guys haven't subscribed over to the new channel yet, make sure you go do so. The new channel is called Fantasy Never Stops. And it is primarily short form content, and it's not repurposed. It's all with intention. Go subscribe over there to the Fantasy Never Stops YouTube channel. By the way, if you want our week 1 rankings and consistent in-season rankings, then become a Motherflocker member with the promo code LAND. I'll spam that in the chat as well. Yearly members get a free team review as well. Monthly members still get access to the perks, the rankings. You just don't get the team review. But we appreciate y'all big time for the love, for the support. We are going to go until the 15-minute mark past the hour, okay? So we're going to go another 8 minutes here. And then we'll answer as many questions as we can in the next 8 minutes. All right, and Super Chats still get prioritized. Elite Team says pick 2 running backs in a flex. Rice, Achane, Mixon, Pacheco, Walker, Higgins, Cooper. How am I supposed to choose? Come on. Achane. How am I supposed to choose between... Oh, my God. You guys, how do you have these rosters?
I'm back.
I guess Achane, Mixon, Pacheco in the flex. That is insane that you guys have teams like that. We did get a super chat. Welcome back, Badaki, from
By the
Ali.
way, it says you have like the fantasy line never stops up.
That's okay.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
No, that's all right. Ali says, I got Marvin, Malik, St. Brown, and London. Got London on the bench because I like Neighbors versus Minnesota. Thoughts? I also love Neighbors versus Minnesota, but I would have a little more confidence in Drake London myself, just given the quarterback play. But, hey, if that's your gut call, go with it. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Remember, fantasy is supposed to be fun, all right? So don't stress out too much about it. All right, I told them Badaki we would go until the 15-minute mark past the hour, so that's about 6
Yeah.
more minutes. Super chat still get prioritized. Otherwise, we go in order. And the next question in order is from Big Dan, maybe? Is it Big Dan?
I'm lost.
I think it's Big Dan.
Yeah, he had one. Well, I answered that. I think I answered Ryan.
Okay.
I answered Jake. I think the next one is Connor Rome or Brian Thomas. I think we'll both go Brian Thomas, excuse me.
Yes.
Connor
I agree.
Connor S. Rome or Brian
I agree.
Thomas.
Brian
think we
Thomas.
answered this Pino guy. He did a super chat.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Jake, who's your favorite rookie wide receiver to draft?
Brian
Thomas. But for me, it's Malik Neighbors. Devin
Singletary or Jalen Warren? I would say Devin because Jalen's coming off that injury.
I'm going Devin as well.
Top 3 defenses this week would be probably Bengals, Saints. That's my top 2. I don't know top 3.
Yeah, I would throw the Falcons in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who to flex? Rice, Del Mostert. I'll go half PPR. Ooh, that's tough between Mostert and Rice.
Yeah, Mostert and Rice. Yeah.
I think I lean Rice still. Close, very close. We already answered that question. What's up, Andrew? Welcome in.
So we did Asasi as well. I think it's
Pickens,
elite
Tank
team.
Dell, Zay Flowers.
I don't see this from Charlie.
Charlie, yeah, I already answered elite teams question actually.
Okay. Pickens, Tank Dell, Zay Flowers. For me, this is Tank Dell. Or
this is Tank
2
and
flex
Pickens
spots
for me.
Tank and Pickens, yeah.
Okay. But I could see that going either way. Antonio says, just finished a home league. Yahoo gave me a D-. Well, if Yahoo or ESPN gives you a bad grade, you probably got a great team. All right. So don't stress about it at all. They are historically very bad at grading teams. But yeah, great team, man. Don't stress about it, honestly. Dak, Amon-Ra, Ayuk, London. That's a great running back and wide receiver room. Two Shots says, I may have messed up in Superflex. I was able to get my hands on Chase at pick 9 and Jefferson right after. Couldn't pass up on them. I don't mind that start.
Yeah, they don't mind.
Mo Green, 14 team.
Thoughts?
He's just asking for his thoughts. Yeah, Goff is a fine starter in a 14-man. Your running back room and wide receiver room. Well, your running back room is strong. Your wide receiver room is a little suspect. But you have an elite tight end, which I love. So overall, not a bad team at all. Love it, love it, love it. Tua or Caleb Williams this week?
Tua.
Yeah, I think so. Waddle or Rashee Rice this week? I would go Waddle.
Yeah,
and I'll go
Waddle
Tua
as well.
over Lawrence.
Agreed.
Half PPR, who do you take at the one between Jettas, Bijan, and Barkley? This must be a keeper, Bijan. And a half PPR.
Yeah. Joseph need one full PPR. Brian Robinson.
Brian Robinson.
Yeah, Brian Robinson. London or Connor in the flex spot. It's London for the both of us.
Mm-hmm.
What's good, gentlemen? Full PPR. Who do you think will be the Commanders' wide receiver 2 or second receiver of the team? Zach Ertz, maybe. Thanks. For me, at the moment, I feel like everything is pointing towards De'Ami Brown.
Yeah.
So I'll go with De'Ami Brown.
I don't think there's a number 2 that we can rely on yet, but De'Ami Brown's a fun stash. Noah Brown's a fun stash. And Ben Sinnott could be a sneaky late year winner. Brown, Warren, Palmer, Worthy, Polk, Taysom. If I have to choose one, I guess that's Worthy.
Yeah.
TJ says, so do I start Palmer or London? London.
No, we ended at London.
Kind of want to start Stafford over Purdy because the matchup is that okay? It's okay. I would start Purdy, but it's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Najee or Jerome Ford? I would go Najee there, but it's close.
I'm going to go Jerome Ford.
Okay. Neighbors or Rice week 1? I'm going Rice, but it's very
I have
close.
Rice. Yeah, I have Rice over Neighbors as much
Andrew
as
says start 3 flex. Watson, McLaughlin, Dowdle, Cooks, Worthy, McMillan. Worthy, Watson, Dowdle.
Yeah, agreed.
Let's see. AD Mitchell or Jalen McMillan. If you have to start them this week, then neither. I guess. I guess AD, but if you're asking me dynasty, I've been McMillan over Mitchell.
Yeah, dynasty. I'll go AD. I'll go AD in both.
Okay. I took Dak over Stroud just now. I don't feel good about it. If Dak and Stroud were both on the board G16, I probably wouldn't have taken a quarterback at that pick, if I'm honest with you. But
Agreed.
that's okay. Terry McLaurin or Rice, I think we both go Rice. Mahomes or Murray,
Agreed.
we both go Mahomes.
Agreed.
Love or Daniels, we both go Love.
Agreed.
Love it, Steven. I know you would have killed it. You're great at drafting.
Love that, brother. Glad you're here, man.
Good team. ETH, he says, trade offer Walker and Deontay for Achane.
Trade offer Walker and Deontay.
Love Deontay, but I think I'm going to take the shot on Achane there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you're getting a second round value for a fifth round running back and a sixth round wide receiver. So I agree.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were done.
We did get a super chat, by the way.
Yes.
Not sure if you saw Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it. Say what you're going to say.
All I was going to say was we are ending the stream now. We told you guys about 10 minutes ago that we'd end at 15 minutes past the hour. We've now been live for 2 hours and 15 minutes. If there's any super chats to end the stream, we'll stay on. Otherwise, we are going to move on. We got to make a bunch of content for you guys this week. We appreciate y'all for showing love to the stream, hitting the like button, subscribing. Josh says, start Rashee Rice or Mixon at the flex, 10-man PPR. I'm going Mixon there, but I do love Rice this week. I think Mixon is safe.
Rice? Wow. That's a great question. I would go Rice. I love Mixon too. I love Mixon, but I would go Rice. That's a tough one.
Guys, keep in mind, I think we answered like 500 questions today. All right.
Yeah,
maybe
I mean,
500 to 700 questions today. We're doing,
and we're going to be live every single day as well.
Yes, we'll be live every single day, and turn on the notifications so you know when we're live, so you can get in the stream a little bit earlier. We always try to answer every single question that we possibly can with the time that we have allocated. We appreciate you guys big time. We'll be live throughout this entire week. And ultimately, yeah, we always try our best. So we hope that you guys understand. Now, a couple things to end the stream on. Number one, like I said, if you haven't subscribed to the Fantasy Never Stops YouTube channel, that is an extension of our company, of our brand. It's short form content, and it's going to be working throughout the week. What kind of content you got coming up on that channel this week?
Yeah, I mean, running backs that you shouldn't. I don't have the title for it, but running backs you should start over these other running backs, if that makes any sense. I'll do the same thing with wide receivers and all throughout the
running back
week.
Starts and sits basically.
Yeah,
which is big right now. So go subscribe over there if you have yet to subscribe. The other thing is, if you want your team reviewed, actually, Badaki, this is what we should finish on. We have a redraft team to review, so I'd like to review that team right now.
Sure.
And it's Ceedee's nuts. Now, if you guys are out there, let me go ahead and change the pinned comment, and you want your team reviewed, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can get your team reviewed. Okay? So if you're out there, we're about to review someone's dynasty or someone's redraft league. All right? If you want your team reviewed, get a team review here. All right? So I'll make that the pinned comment. Let's say you just finished your draft and you want this type of in-depth breakdown, then I will pin that comment there. The other option is if you want to sign up to become a yearly Mother Flocker member on the Flock Fantasy site. But let's just finish the stream by reviewing Ceedee's nuts team, okay? And we'll just let him know that we are reviewing it live. And this should send him an email so he'll know that we are reviewing it. Okay, so this is cool. This is our first we've done so many dynasty ones. I think this is our first redraft review, so this will be really fun, Badaki. And we'll go ahead and hit start here.
Yeah, I can see this. This is pretty awesome that we can see this as well.
Yeah.
So it's one PPR, one quarterback, is a 10-team tight end, is not a tight end premium, and is a start 9. And he picked from the 103, it looked like.
Yep.
If this is correct.
Yep.
He says, comments, my predictions are super low, but I feel like I have a pretty solid team. And advice. Okay, and he does have some images here. of his team. So starting at the quarterback position with Josh Allen, I think that's a phenomenal start. It looks like you got Ceedee Lamb at the 103, which is phenomenal.
Great
Um,
job, honestly. Well, let's start with format. So this is a
yeah.
start 7, smaller league. So you and I,
Well, yeah.
what would we always say with these type of formats? We'd always say, get elite onesie positions at quarterback and tight end. You did it
Exactly.
with Josh Allen and Kyle Pitts. What would we say? Shoot for upside. Don't worry about floor. You got Devon Achane. You got Nico Collins. Perfect.
Yeah.
So I think you've done an incredible job with this team. But sorry, let's keep going. Let's keep looking at this.
Yeah, so at the quarterback position, you have Josh Allen, like Zach said, that onesie position. The running back, Devon Achane, and then DeAndre Swift. I think this is probably your downfall at the running back position. You didn't get that other running back, but that's
RB2
okay.
is pretty weak. What's on his
RB2.
bench?
He has Chase Brown and Trey Benson. So Trey Benson could be a league winner potentially in the second half of the season. Anything can happen there at that running back position. And same thing with Chase Brown. Like I kind of been predicting, he's going to be taking over this backfield in the second half. But this RB2 is a little bit weak.
I agree, but Swift is a fine enough starter until you sift through the waiver wire. You see if Brown is actually the guy. You see if James Conner goes down with an injury. So I think like from a philosophical perspective, I love the way you drafted, as in like just purely going upside, hitting on the onesie positions. So if I was to give this team a grade from an A to an F, I would probably put this at a strong A-, Badaki.
Yeah, I was gonna say because everywhere else outside of that running back room, the RB2 is pretty strong. CeeDee Lamb, Drake London, Nico Collins, all these guys that we love. I mean, you have Shakir on the bench.
12 wide receivers in most people's rankings.
Yeah, you have Shakir on the bench, and Jordan Addison with Jackson Smith and Jigba as well. You also have Kyler Murray as your QB2
I didn't even realize
Josh
that.
Allen goes down. I mean, and then Kyle Pitts at the tight end position, who once again, you go with upside in this guy. I mean, they say the best tight end prospect since a long time ago, right? So that hopefully can turn things around here with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I agree. One thing I was going to say on this team is I would drop Cade Otton like it's hot real quick. I just do not see a scenario in which after week 1, you're excited about Cade Otton and everyone's running to the waiver wires to grab Cade Otton. So I would pretty instantly drop Cade Otton on this team.
And this is a 10-man league, so maybe there's some other options out there.
Yeah, let me tell you some names that I would probably say, hey, let's go stash some of these names. So let's go here.
Are you talking about at the tight end position specifically, or
any position? I don't care what position you're stashing. But for example, Jalen Polk, I would stash. Palmer if he's there. Shakir if he's there. Nick Chubb if you can put him on the IR. If Blake Corum is somehow out there, or Gus Edwards, Rico Dowdle, Dontavion Wicks, another good name that's available in a lot of leagues. Jaleel McLaughlin, I'd rather have personally. Jalen Wright, in case an injury happens to one of those guys.
Yep. I'm there with you.
Marshawn Lloyd as well, because it looks like he is back and healthy. Ty Chandler, I'd rather roster. J.K. Dobbins. And this is pretty much in order from what we've said, but I'd also add in Wan'Dale Robinson there, Jalen McMillan, Michael Wilson. I'd rather have Noah Fant. So those are just some names that I would rather personally have rostered. We've seen Cade Otton in the league for quite some time now, 3 to 4 years. I know tight ends start off slow typically, but he is probably the 4th option. Actually, he's probably the 5th option in an offense that is not throwing the ball top 5 in the league attempts anyway. Like, you got Godwin there, you got Evans, you got McMillan, you've got Rashad White. I just don't see a scenario, even if your tight end goes down, where you're excited about a guy like Cade Otton. So,
yeah, I'm there with you. I'm okay with that. I mean, like, at the tight end position specifically, if maybe there's somebody that is available, that I think has a better offense. I don't know if Luke Musgrave is available. I'd rather pick him up.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you mentioned him. I know Zach really likes Noah Fant, who's also on a better offense. I would just, even Isaiah Likely who, with Mark Andrews struggling with his injury, is he going to be ready for week 1? Or
I would
he does
even
return
rather
to
have
practice,
like Colby Parkinson
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
from the Rams
100%.
to see what his role would be. I'd rather have Greg Dulcich, who could be healthy, or Jatavion Sanders, and see if he just pops off straight away as a rookie randomly. So
Yeah, I
there's
agree.
so many other names I'd rather have. So, and watch. I mean, we'll see him just absolutely go off week 1. Watch that happen. But, yeah, overall, I'd say you did a very good job. You should be so proud of this team. Genuinely,
Yeah,
you
this
should be
is
very,
a
very
great
proud
team.
of this team. You're strong where you need to be strong. Your game changers at the quarterback and tight end position is what will make you a championship winning team versus a good team. Everyone's team looks good in 10-man leagues, so I think you really made the distinction. And in fact, I'm kind of shocked how you're able to put this together. Like, logistically thinking about ADP, Badaki, CeeDee Lamb's a first round pick. London typically is a late or early second round pick.
Yeah,
Nico
it
Collins
seems,
is a second round pick.
yeah,
Josh Allen is a second round pick in 10-man leagues.
it's either
So,
like he went like CD. The way I'm seeing it is, it was CD, Devon, then London, then Nico fell to him.
yeah.
Um, and then he probably went Josh Allen and then Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
Or maybe he took Josh Allen higher and then one of these other guys fell like Nico.
Yeah.
Man,
I think
I
wouldn't be looking to make any drastic changes on this team before week 1. One thing you could try is if you wanted to package Swift with like Addison, for example. If you could package Swift and Addison and get into like a Joe Mixon tier, a Josh Jacobs, a Henry Etienne type tier, I'd be willing to make that move. But outside of that, I would hold going into week 1, put this roster out there, and just see if Connor goes down or if Chase Brown's actually the guy, and move from there. But I'd say, like we said, A- team, really well done.
Yeah, I think it was great, man. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support as well. That's awesome.
Yes, appreciate you big time, my man. If you guys are out there and you want your team reviewed by us, it's very, very simple. There's 2 ways to get your team reviewed. Let's say you just finished your draft and you're like, all right, what do you guys think about this? The first option is just by purchasing a team review. That's if you don't want to be a member, you only want to purchase a team review, then that is the option here. You can see in the a la carte store, a team review. You can also go to that store when we're not live. If you want to ask a start sit question, a trade question, and then of course the team reviews like we just saw. The other option is if you want to become a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. We believe this is the best bang for your buck. And the reason being is because you get a free team review when you sign up. You get our weekly rankings. You get access to the entire Discord, all the premium tools on the website, and of course, you're supporting this channel. But that is going to be it for today. We appreciate y'all big time. Thanks for hanging out with us. We will be live tomorrow. Just turn those notifications on so you don't miss it. Anything else before we move on?
No, make sure you go subscribe to Fantasyland Never Ends, and
the name changes every stream, by the way.
I know. I say Fantasyland Never Stops. Sorry, because that was the original name. That was gonna be the original name.
Fantasy never stops.
That was gonna be the original name, and then we changed it. So Fantasy Never Stops. We appreciate you guys, and we put a lot of content, short form content there. So stay tuned for all of that this week.
All right, all love, guys. We'll see you soon. Peace.